Lots of traffic on the jump net today. Having to increase priority value for transmission in order to maintain acceptable bitrate. Nodes 1 through 11 are holding steady. Secondary connection to Kerbal system. Let's see, nodes 1 through 37 are not doing very well, but I think the Kerbals will accept that sort of a bit rate. Their flight control technology is rather primitive. Transceiver operating within correct temperatures. We are clear across the board for Terran transmission. Kerbal transmission is borderline failing, but that's okay. Let us begin the transmission. Greetings, wingmates. I hope that you are well, in whatever temporal situation you may find yourself in. I see that we already have input within the chat console. Alaric, Kimmy Spice, TK, Attenborough, and Starship AI, welcome to the convoy. It is good to see you here. Time to go to space, yes it is, and this time with mechanical Jeb, because we are using modifications with Kerbal Space Program today, wingmates. Let's see, Kimmy Spice using a nice emote. Mewdoc, comfy. That looks very pleasant. How is everyone today? And Starship AI, I see that you verified my voice print. Excellent. Although I think perhaps you should use some different security measures, as my voice can be replicated through the power of recordings. Yes, Mechanical Jeb will be saving us some time today. But we also have the which one was it? So I was attempting to install a number of modifications for a Kerbal Space Program. And of course, the game is a little bit recalcitrant. And my attempts to install anything but Interstellar Extended have unfortunately failed, and the near future modification packs have failed to load correctly. So we will be running only the Interstellar pack, which is a little bit overpowered in my opinion, but we will not be using the more powerful engines out of that. I'm glad that you're doing well. I am doing as well as could be. So wingmates, I had to explain. Oh, Magical Girl Syrup, good to see you at the convoy. Thank you for being here. I had to explain. I've had some difficulties in my own downtime, as maintenance for the wishful thinking has been a little bit more involved than usual. After the power failure that occurred, at this point was it 1 week ago, when the primary superconductor power bus blew out, other systems have failed in a cascading manner. That was, I suppose, the straw that broke many camels' backs. And unfortunately, various subsystems across the vessel have been experiencing intermittent glitches and failures. How bad is the system failure? It's not that there's a total system failure, it's just that systems have been failing in a consistent manner, which oftentimes happens when a massive shock goes through the entire power connection system. Supposedly most manufacturers put the correct, I suppose, fusing and cutoffs, but even so, the sheer magnitude of the detonation that occurred was enough to jar something's loose, I suppose. In this line of work, and in many lines of work, one would call these gremlins. And gremlins are hard to track down. So for this reason, I have had to postpone the discussion about the wishful thinking, but I hope to have it in higher quality on Monday. So please wait warmly, wingmates, and I will attempt to deliver something more or less high quality to you. If I can deliver cargo, I can deliver at least some kind of discussion. Tyler, welcome to the convoy. Good to see you here. And Oxide, also, welcome. Ringo, welcome to the convoy. Alright. So, wingmates, why don't we go to the simulation room and begin our continuing adventures with the Kerbals. Hopefully my data connection to their to their systems will be of an acceptable bitrate, but I cannot guarantee that. Alright. If there is any instability, blame the modifications, or perhaps blame the Kerbals themselves. So let's see if we can get this running. There we go, and moving on to the sim room. Alright, wingmates, allow me 1 second, please. I hope that this executable does not detonate as we prepare for launch. There we go. Let's see here. Okay, it is loading. Module Manager is doing what it needs to do, which is very important. Getting these mods to work, even with a mod manager, was a little bit cantankerous, to say the least. There we go. And perfect. I hope that it is visible now, wingmates. There is no audio yet from the game, so please bear with me while all of these parts and modifications are loaded. Hello, Okayest Mod. Welcome to the convoy. Glad to see you here. Has semicolon, pa? Yes, replacing L with semicolon is an acceptable substitute for a cipher, I suppose. Parts on parts and parts on parts. And parts on... that sounds like a Dr. Seuss rhyme. I do not know many of them other than one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. Alright. Excellent. So we have loaded without a crash, which is already fantastic. Hello, Rory438. Welcome to the convoy. How's space program been? Last time I remember, you were doing stuff around Minmus. Yes, Rory. I was indeed doing stuff around Minmus. And we managed to land and drop off a flag, although, of course, a game failure and a crash meant that the flag was lost. And, of course, we are now going to be attempting to play the game with modifications, the most important of which will be mechanical jeb, as I'm a little bit tired of having to align my orbits correctly. Alright, let's see here. Parts on parts on parts, that's what you call it, not diaclone. Diaclone. Ringo, what is that a reference to? I apologize for my, I suppose, lack of education in that regard. Assembleborg experience. Oh, it's a shame when things fly over my head. Oh, no worries, Okayest Mod. I have a very bad accuracy when I type. Right, since we are starting with a mod, why don't we actually... You know what, we can resume a saved game. We're not going to ruin a saved game by having a vehicle launch that has incorrect parts. We're going to start a new one. So sandbox, and this will be spacer modwire. There we go. What flag will we use for spacer modwire? All of these manufacturers. I like Trippy. I like that a lot. That's very visible. Let's see, difficulty normal. Excellent. Semi-building... Diaclone is a toy line. Modular toys. That is now themed to the Earth Defense Force games. Semi-building block toys. Oh, Kerbal modwire. Yes, that is perfect. Thank you, Alaric. Much appreciated. Kerbal modwire. There we go. Let me take a look at that. What that diaclone bit is. Once this loads, of course. I'm not going to alt-tab while it's freaking out. There we go. I don't need a tutorial. Alright, let's take a look here. Diaclone. Let's see. Oh, I see. That's an interesting line. I've never seen that particular bit of action figures. That is good to know. Thank you. Thank you very much for explaining that to me. Alright, why don't we continue onward here? So thanks, I've got it. Let's start assembling vehicles already. So I think... Yes, Von Kerman. So we are going to be experiencing the full power of a lot of modifications all at once. Diaclone commercials are now very EDF-like. They once began their foundational concept for Transformers Generation 1, but decades later they have revived as their own identity. I see. So that they do have some heritage to them. I guess that is something to look at in a wiki. So we haven't fully assembled the vehicle. Let's quickly take a look at the tracking station, actually. Let's see, astronaut complex, R&D. Alright, so here's Kerbin, and here we have flight engineer bothering us. So, we may wish to actually go ahead and travel to an exoplanetary destination. Yes, 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 Gene Kerman. Yes, Gene Kerman. That's understandable. Let's see here. So, we've traveled to Moon, our closest neighbor. We've traveled to Minmus. Now, I think it is high time that we left our immediate Kerbin orbit and traveled to somewhere else. Dual Bore, welcome to the convoy. Great to see you here. Hasbro released some Diaclone toys in the United States during a ButtCon a few years back. I see, TK, so that was a very exclusive experience, as I would imagine, if of course the toys were only exclusive to a conference. That does seem a little bit irritating, but I can see why they would do that. Mass production lines are rather annoying to set up. Let's see here. Okay, so, of the two nearest neighbors, at least in terms of relative orbital position... Hello, Gorian. Welcome to the convoy. Good to see you here. So our two nearest neighbors are Duna, which is the equivalent of Mars, and then we also have Eve. So, right now Eve is in very close alignment to us, but it is moving faster. So, if our craft is to leave the orbit of Kerbin, it will unfortunately have a significant issue in that it will have to essentially really shorten up its orbit around Kerbal in order to increase its velocity to intercept Eve. So that will take a lot of delta V. And I would rather use Hoffman transfers or direct transfers of some sort. Let's sim Long March rockets spiraling out of control. Well, hopefully with mechanical Jeb, we will no longer be out of control. That is for certain. Although even mechanical Jeb can fail if the controls leave the limits. BotCon was the official Transformers convention from 1997 to 2016. TK, why was the conference discontinued after 2016, I suppose? Was there not enough attendees, or were there legal issues or something like that? Let's see here. Okay. So one thing we could do is wait a few months and essentially await... Okay, so if we want to phase correctly, we need to align it so we can do the Hoffman transfer orbit to Duna, I think. Let's do Duna. Duna's a classic destination. Let's see here. So Duna has, let's see here, phase angle, semi-major axis, distance, apoapsis, relative inclination. Okay. I need more parameters, actually. Let me open up the wiki here very quickly. Locations. Let's take a look here. Celestial bodies, Duna. So there is a moon, the Ike, orbiting Duna, and Eve is a wonderful purple planet with a toxic atmosphere. But I do think Duna is a more appropriate line for landing. Let's see here. What I do need, of course, is the actual parameters. This wiki is great, but not as good as I would like. I need the atmospheric information. Let's see here. Duna... Oh, here we go. Parameters. Atmosphere present, yes, so we may want to take advantage of the fact that there's an atmosphere. However, this does mean that the return lander is going to be significantly bulkier than expected. Hasbro combined BotCon and JoeCon, the running G.I. Joe convention that was running since 1992-ish, into one HasCon in 2017 to celebrate all Hasbro brands. I see, TK, so it's a consolidation. Maybe they saw the attendance numbers for both and decided it was better to simply merge them. Very understandable. I suppose any sort of horizontal integration oftentimes ends up being more appropriate for larger companies. Okay, so let's take a look at our GM. No, that doesn't mean too much to me. So it's 0.3 gravities relative to Kerbin. I can say I'm a little glad to see someone streaming something other than Resident Evil 8. Stompy Sim. Nice to have a wide selection. Well, I'm glad that is the case. Yes. While I think that the Resident Evil games have their own characteristics to them, they are not something that I usually play, so you will probably not expect me to do it. I will say though, when Kerbal Space Program 2 is released, I will likely also wait till the game itself is patched and running as it should be. I do suspect that even though this particular studio has been rather good about it, there may be some issues in regards to that. So BotCon and JoeCon went on to be unofficial fan conventions. I see. Very funny, but almost 80% of my followers are playing it. Oh my goodness, that's very, very intense. Or saturation just released games means so many people just get ignored streaming it. Yes, that is definitely an issue with the sort of meta of streaming, as it were. Ike is a bastard. It's a perfect geostationary orbit around Duna, meaning, of course, any attempts to establish a geostationary orbit of your own will eventually become a crater. This, combined with a stupidly large gravity wall, makes it annoying most of the time, but it can be useful if you want to go for fuel economy and insane gravity assists. I'm not sure I have the skill set necessary to do a proper gravity assist with Ike, but we may be able to target that somehow. Surprisingly, R-Type Final F was released right before Resident Evil 8, but next to nobody was paying attention, alongside the steep price tag for a game of its content density and genre. I mean R-Type Final 2. Yes, I do not think that R-Type, and this is no offense to R-Type, but it is a more niche game than Resident Evil 8. So I think in that sense, it is a little bit, it does have a little bit of an easier time being played. Okay, so let's go build a craft that can reach Duna, and also take off from it, hopefully. Yes, it's a niche game, a niche within a niche. Yes, indeed. Okay, so hopefully this will not crash despite all of the modifications that we are currently running. Although Mechanical Jeb is one of the more reliable mods. So, let's build a craft that can travel all the way to Duna from takeoff on Kerbin. As you can see, wingmates, we have quite a few more engines, most of them being absurdly powerful. This is because we are running the Interstellar mod for a Kerbal Space Program, and of course we could be running a fusion engine like this, which is bigger than most craft we have ever launched to date. But of course we cannot activate this in Atmo, although in theory you could attempt to do so, but the game will not allow it. So let me get rid of this, if I even can. Come on, behave. Please behave. Are you? There we go. Require a different mouse for this operation. We switch from the finger trackball to the thumb trackball. Okay, so let's pick our primary orbital craft. Now, I think because we require re-entry, I'm going to use a heavier craft than I normally do. But I won't use a one-man craft. I don't want to keep a craft in orbit without someone. So we're actually going to move on to the Mark 1-3 command pod. Since this is capable of re-entry on its own, in essence. Actually, let me see here. I don't think it actually has any heat ablative material. Or if it does, it's minimal. Welcome to having not used this particular pod all that often. But I think it should have ablator material on it. Let's see here. So Mark 1 command pod. On propellants, experience, mech jab included. Okay, let's see here. Going to close that off. Come on, there we go. Please behave. Alright, there we go. Been told Final 2 was pretty bad. Adborough. Were there some, what was the specific issue that you saw with with R-Type Final 2? And yes, Rory, safety regulations are a bit of a pain. You'll need an external heat shield for that one, as I suspected. Thank you for the tip, Rory. I much appreciate that. That would have been a disaster. How does the launch fare? Well, right now we are not even close to a launch because we are beginning our creation process. So I will need a heat shield for this. Let me find one of the appropriate size. That is not it. But we do have the scaling mod installed, so that will actually do the job correctly for us. So, too small. Heat shield, no. What is happening here? The scaling enabled? Let's double check that. Okay, where is it? Tweak scale is active. Let's inactivate it. Well, I guess that will fit using tweak scale. There we go. And Miwa, welcome to the convoy. And JC, welcome to the convoy. Great to see you here. Let's see here. To continue my Transformers tangents, that G.I. Joe Transformers would not exist. Ah, I see. In what sense, TK? Is it Transformers that enabled that sort of action, those sort of action figures to prosper? I am doing okay, Miwa. Thank you for asking. I wish I had less maintenance tasks earlier today, so I would have been able to fully complete the preparation for the wishful thinking lecture. But alas. The 3-man pod is 2.5 meters. Let's see, what was I... Did they... no. There we go. That fits perfectly. There we go. I apologize, Rory. Hiding from other Resident Evil streamers. Goobor, welcome to the convoy. Good to see you here. Don't want to spoil it. Ah, I see that everyone's been wanting to, that Resident Evil 8 has been gripping everyone's attention. Well, that is very understandable. I would certainly want to play a game that I was a big fan of. Alright, so, for this Duna craft, why don't we build something that is reusable for other explorations? So we have our 3-man pod, and I think we'll go with lightweight this time around. So we need a decoupler for re-entry. That is absolutely what we require. So let's see here. Let's make sure we go to couplers. At least not too many have been added. Where is the 2.5 meter coupler? There we go. The T5. There we go. So now we have a proper decoupler. Let's see here. Wait, I'm watching Kimming's stream. I must be pure. You're waiting to watch me beat it. Oh, I see. Well, everyone has their has a particular favorite usually, in terms of who they want to see things with, and that's just the fact of life. So, I can see why that would be happening. In 1982, Hasbro relaunched G.I. Joe as a real American Heroes line, and from its success, they wanted to try a new toy line. Seeing success from the transforming robot toys in Japan, they decided to import some Japanese toys. I see, TK. So, in essence, it was success that allowed them to see that action figures do have a future. Ah, Gorian, you don't play that. Well, I don't really play Resident Evil myself very much. Let's see, we don't need any supercapacitors. Okay, so now we need an orbital module, even though I think we should consider this craft to be something more than just a visiting vessel, but we're going to be very simplistic with our builds today. So, we probably want a proper reaction control system. So let's take a look here. Advanced. There we go. We will use a large reaction control system so that we have decent control over our craft. Let's see here. Oh my goodness, what is this? This is new. I have not used this particular bit before. I'm more of a flight sim, RPS, RTS, FPS, MMORPG person. Ah, I see. What would you consider the category for Resident Evil? It's depending on the particular version, it appears to be either a first-person shooter, but I guess horror survival would be the genre of Resident Evil. Survival horror, yes. Let's see, but I really only have consoles for Zelda games. Zelda games seem to take many people's interest. Let's see here. So, we will also want a significant supply of RCS fuel. Okay. No. I think we will actually... For this orbital module, we will definitely want a good power source. Let's see. Yes, we are using mods today, Dippy. Welcome to the convoy. We are using Mechanical Jeb, and we actually are using the Interstellar mod because the near future mod was not working. Tend to keep it simple-ish. Apollo style tends to do well, then stick stupid advanced tech beneath it. Indeed, Rory, I also agree that, especially because Kerbals don't require habitation or any sort of other enrichment, we are more than able to get away with an Apollo-style vessel. So in this case, we will just continue on with that. However, I would like to have a high ISP engine under this. So for now, why don't we throw on a fuel tank that is appropriate to an orbital module. Let's see here. Oh my goodness, they added so many tanks. Dual cryogenic tank. This one can take... wait. Aluminum oxide. What kind of fuels can this take? Let's see here. Come on, behave. Methane oxide. There we go. Hydrogen. Oh my goodness. These blasted. Continuous power is required to... Alright, we don't need cryogenic fuels. We are not going to be using cryogenic fuels in our upper stage at all here. Let's see here. Because of 1969, Takara gets a license for G.I. Joe in Japan. In 1972, using the G.I. Joe molds, made Cyborg Henshin Robo. Reusing molds is a time-honored tradition. Essentially, any company that can pass along equipment like that will do so. Saving money is important. Too small of a fuel tank. We don't need a cryo tank, I think, although it depends on what engine we'll be using. If we need a cryogenically maintained propellant. Let's see here. Liquid fuel fuselage. Probably the Carbodyne tank is too big, of course. It's the Rockomax tank that I need. It's been some time, and there's an overwhelming quantity of these. Oh yes, an antimatter container. Perfect. We will not be running antimatter right now, I think. There we go, Rockomax. Alright. So for our orbital module, I think we will use a Rockomax, but not the biggest one. There we go. Maybe a bit small, but we'll just make a bigger tank out of more modules. I like having high delta V, as I tend to make a lot of mistakes. And there we go. Perfect, perfect. Cryofuels require energy-intensive refrigeration. Indeed they do, which is why we'll likely only be using thrusters that are appropriate for that. Get you 20,000 credits. You won't get an SS single stage to orbit vehicle off on your first try. I don't think we're going to do a single stage to orbit. Did you ever see those Mighty Max toys? That was the boys' counterpart to Polly Pocket. I did not, Gorian. That is an interesting historical footnote, I think. Are they discontinued, or are they... I don't think they're still around, at least not in early 21st century Terra. Hydrogen fuel gives you good ISP, but density is a bitch. Indeed, indeed. We will likely be running a liquid hydrogen. The oil crisis in 1974, Takara shrinks the figure 3.75 as a microman known as the mega micronauts. Oh, that is very interesting that they had to adapt the size. Oh, in the United States. Antimatter is very effective at eliminating unwanted items from orbit. Yes, Starship AI. The Far Suns Coalition generally does not weaponize it, as it is rather expensive to manufacture and usually reserved for very advanced engines, but of course one could attempt to utilize it, although atomic weapons are generally cheaper to use. Nice funny TV series too for Mighty Max. That is, I suppose, not something I'm an expert on at all. Alright, let's take a look at our engines. So our orbital stage, do we want to run a liquid engine or do we want to run an atomic engine? I think that we should run a second generation atomic engine. Let's see, can I sort this properly? Filter by function, filter by resource, filter by manufacturer, filter by tech level. Let's see here. Oh my goodness. Nope, that's not the correct filter. Carbonauts and control. Are these all of the advanced engines? And what is the sorting? Let's sort by cost. I think that will be the easiest way to determine which... Oh, no, here we go. Rockets, SRBs, solid rocket boosters, prop engines. There's a That is not a propeller engine. That is... Oh, monopropellant. Okay. That is really strange. Jet engines, nuclear rockets. Okay. I think we will try to run a nuclear rocket. Let's take a look here at what our options are in this modification. So we have the traveling wave reactor. No, I don't think so. What's the ISP on that? Oh, ISP is actually very poor. Let's see here. So fission progresses through nuclear fuel like a wave. I see. So it's that particular loadout with waves of, I think, the fission. That is a very interesting design right there. Let's see here. I've heard about using granules or specks of antimatter derived from a carrier beam rather than a raw explosive device. Yes, there are ways of stabilizing that, but it is, for the energy you expend and the risk you run containing antimatter in a beam, you would certainly be oftentimes better off using something like a grazer if you really wanted a powerful weapon. In 1978, Takara launched Diaclone off the success of Microman using 2.5-inch MIG for robots. For them to pilot. Now that is utilizing your resources. Always reuse and recycle all the molds you have, if you can, and all of your design skills. Well, speaking of which, did you see that in 1 to 2 years they're going to send people back to the moon, mostly because the surface has materials needed to make computer parts. Not saying it's bad though. I don't know. One thing I have learned through both analyzing history and such other things is that there are many issues when one attempts to, how shall we put it, make promises like that, especially with very difficult tasks. And sending back raw materials? What kind of raw materials? Have you heard specifically what kind of raw materials? I don't think even germanium would be something you would want to mine on the moon for. But you can't get a single stage to orbit off Kerbal without prop engines. You mean the monopropellant aluminum engine? This is the only thing that is even labeled as a prop engine here. Although I'll have to dig around. You did once. Oh, wonderful. I don't think I can do that right now, and I don't want to make my wingmates watch me. With the success of Diaclone, Takara relaunched Microman in 1980 as new Micromen, including robots, and transforms into everyday objects. Ah, I see. So, in essence, all of these things were in stages. Okay. Oh, the candle is tiny. It's just an RTG with a nozzle. Most of these run on liquid fuel only. Yes, that is why I'm picking atomics, because they are simpler. Wait, what is this? Why are there 2 categories for nuclear engines? What does this even mean? Solid hydrogen engine, a beam core antimatter engine. No thank you, I'm not running that. Aluminum pneumatic fuel feed engine. No. Was those 2 tow lines that built off the success of G.I. Joe in Japan that would be licenses in the US because of the success of G.I. Joe in the US. Okay, so it all loops back around that these United States and Japanese companies are actually interacting with one another and eventually ending up feeding each other. Thermal engines. Okay, so let's see. These all are basically jet engines or some form of atmospheric breathing engine. We are not going to use that. Nuclear saltwater. I don't think I want to run a nuclear saltwater engine on my orbital stage. I'm just going to run a simple nuclear engine. But why is there... Let's see. So this is an afterburning arc jet. Augmented thrust use magnetic induction. Oh, Vasmir. Okay. So Vasmirs are different. They are fusion. So this is mislabeled. I do not know why they are called nuclear. Although that is, I suppose, nuclear in a different way. It's fusion, not fission. Let's see. Crusader thermal rocket. Designed for specialized atmospheric launches. Oh! Interesting. Okay, that is very interesting. Oh no, so these are just any form of atomic power. My goodness, these categories are nuts. So the motto is very happy with the success of Starship 15 this week. Starship 15. I see someone else is being referenced. Oh, sorry, I was just researched. The moon has helium-3, which needed for nuclear fusion. It also has rare elements, which are hard to mine process on Earth. Yes. So at that point, it becomes a matter of economics. What is harder, mining on Earth with an atmosphere or mining on the moon? Well, I suppose there is no ecological devastation when you simply mine the moon. You can even do so with atomic charges if you really want. as those may actually be the most bang for your buck in terms of raw launched explosive weight and the like. Although you may end up blasting things into orbit of the moon if you did that. That would end up probably depositing quite a bit of dust all over the surface. Plus the cheese, and the cheese, of course. It takes stupid amounts of power to get there. Just as much to get back. It's cheaper to get the stuff on our rock, no matter where it is, compared to going to another rock. Indeed, unless your launch system is incredibly cheap, you are generally far better off mining it on your own location, as many astral bodies tend to have the materials required. Alright, so we're not going to use a plasma nozzle. So these are all of a different sort of nuclear. Let's see, solid hydrogen, aluminum oxide, reactionless drives, nope. We're not going to use that. Ultra-dense uranium, ultra-dense deuterium, no. Magneto-inertial fusion engine, nope. I think that one is using, let's see here, saltwater rocket, thermal engines, fusion pellet engine, so these are all very advanced. Okay, so we're just going back to good old-fashioned nukes. Let's see. I'm not going to run that. I want a pretty high ISP, but I also want low tonnage. So let's see. Let's sort these by mass. So let's see. 2 tons, 20 tons. Of course, we could resize them depending on how we wanted to. So the lightest is a traveling wave, but it has a very dismal specific impulse. Let's see here. The success of the Transformers in the US in 1984 led to Gar to discontinue both Diaclone and Microman, to launch Transformers in Japan in 1905. Okay, that makes sense. If you have one line elsewhere, you might as well collapse another. Let's see here. So we have a Nerve and we have Lanter, and then primary differences in tonnage. The Lanter is much lighter. So we could run a Lanter engine. In fact, we could actually scale it up using the mod. Although the liquid core reactor is lighter, but it also has more ISP. So why don't we run this actually? Why don't we run something fancy? Let's not sell ourselves short here. So let's take a look here. Near Future Systems Planet, reference body Kerbal. Let's see here. Oh my goodness. I do not know what this particular tab does. Let's see here. Interstellar Thermal Mechanics Helper. Oh my goodness. That's Kerbal Engineer, Mechanical Jeb, Delta V stats. Let's take a look here. Alright, Kerbal. We want Duna. No. Moon? No. Sun. Not what we want. Kerbal. Okay, there we go. Let's see here. Hasbro and Takara Transformers work very closely with Toylands that near the daily meetings between design teams for both companies. Ah, okay, so that relationship continues on throughout the 21st century. Very interesting, Takara, about that, TK. I see that you have quite a passion about these particular action figures. I do remember having some action figures in my youth, although my primary focus was on small models of vessels. And, of course, of battle machinery. I believe I had some combat mechs and some tanks in plastic model form, and I also had a number of starships, including some of the more famous dreadnoughts. Those are different bodies for TWR figures. Yes. I realized too late that it was more for that. Right, so we are using the wrong fuel here. No wonder Kerbal Engineer is not giving us anything. So let's take a look here. I apologize, wingmates, but this mod is rather complicated as it adds quite a few settings to all of these parts. So let's see, we need hydrogen propellant. Let's get our propellant window open. Oh, nope, I forget that this is very difficult to use at times. Alright, okay, let's see. Diborane. So Diborane has a 0.75 multiplier. For the specific impulse. So liquid hydrogen definitely gives us the most. Let's see. Why don't we switch to that propellant? Let's see. So our propellant right now is liquid fuel. Can't even run on that. Boron, liquid neon, liquid argon. So, where's liquid hydrogen? Where's liquid? Interesting. Why is it not giving me stats? There we go. Scares off even the most experienced of players. I see. I see. Yes, this is a little bit intimidating, but I think we will be able to do it. So we are running liquid hydrogen as our propellant, the 1x ISP modifier. Let me double check what I can run here, because I think there may be some issues. All right, let's see here. Propellants, liquid hydrogen. So only liquid hydrogen is a valid propellant, and I don't know why I'm not getting Delta V right now for the time being. Oh, yes, cryo tank. You are very right. So we're going to need a power. I don't think we actually need that much Delta V around Duna, so we may want to run with a basic liquid fuel engine. Let's go with a rocket, but let's see what kind of rockets we can actually obtain here, because I really don't want to have to deal with a generator on my orbital module. Although we may change this up. Rutherford, ISP 337. We're not going to get the best ISP out of any of these engines. Let's see, we're sorting them by mass. Swivel, 320, 350 on the Poodle, 350 on that. So for anyone not familiar with this, I think that's how it works with the near future. Yes, there's a good chance that was getting no fuel flow. So if we go back to our nuclear rockets, and we plop one down, let's check our fuel flow overlay. Okay, so we do have fuel flow. Let's see here. Let's see, shroud, no shroud enabled. My goodness. Okay, so liquid hydrogen. So the Rockomax, liquid fluorine. Oh, there we go. Okay. The main issue was both tanks didn't have the correct fuel. So I think without this, we actually can slam liquid hydrogen in there. There we go. So our fuel here is liquid liquid fuel. No, that's liquid hydrogen plus oxidizer. We want liquid hydrogen. There we go. That is much better. And let's see here. So this one also needs to be converted correctly. Not kerosene, not hydrolox, hydrogen. Liquid hydrogen. There we go. So our total, let's see. So our total Delta V is 4,000. That was nearly 5,000. My goodness. Takara is also responsible for quality control at the Hasbro factories in China. So Hasbro has the right to all Takara toy lines outside of Japan. Takara has the right to Hasbro toy lines minus Star Wars and Marvel in Japan. Both Marvel and Star Wars are licensed to Bandai. Ah. My goodness, TK, those are very complicated relationships, but of course, all companies end up having something like that between them if they've been working that closely. You've had this interest for quite some time, it seems. Do you have an extensive collection of Hasbro and Takara action figures? I know that many collect figurines. I know that many collect models. So I think action figures are definitely an interesting thing to have a stash of. Okay, so now that we have figured out that we have quite a bit of Delta V here. Let's see here. Okay, how did you calculate this? That is not how you should be calculating that. ISP 1000. Okay. Body curve and atmospheric, all stages. Okay, so that is acceptable. Well, let's do a little bit of a sanity check here. And let's just we have our pilots, and we're going to launch briefly. Just to see what happens, No, just a fan of Transformers and G.I. Joe. Ah, I see, okay. That's very understandable. I have read many wiki pages for things that I don't even own, either games or collectibles. And, of course, I still enjoy them and the history they're in. Right, so let's see if this is... Right, this engine disabled. The radioactive emissions are not allowed inside homeworld atmosphere. Well, you know what? I don't care. We're going to use the debug console. All right, let's see here. Let's see, cheats. Orbit, set orbit. Semi-major axis, eccentricity, inclination. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Let's see how long we can burn this engine for. Oh, no, that was not right. We're going to revert flight to the vehicle assembly. There we go. The safety regulators are going to have a fit, and they did, indeed. If you don't know where you come from, you can't know where you're going. ME, welcome to the convoy. Yes, that is very much the case. Alright, why don't we launch that again? Both philosophically and physically, you need to know where you have come from. Same, I stumbled upon a video about Warhammer 40k, and later I started watching lore videos, and suddenly I fell into the Warhammer hole, and I know so much about it without having bought a single figure. I have had some experience with the Warhammer war games, but I have not actually had the ability to utilize actual hydrogen boil off. Let's see here. So let's set orbit. So I wonder if we're going to be getting hydrogen boil off here. We still have, oh yeah, we're boiling off, so we need a cryogenic tank. Rory, you were very correct. We need cryo tanks to run hydrogen here, because we are currently boiling every little bit of hydro that we have. Okay, so while we still have hydrogen, why don't we actually use stability assist and go prograde and see what we can do. Oh, that's right. This should have reaction wheels. Come on. Come on. There we go. First stage launch. Cranking up the engine. Let's see. Okay, so our Delta V was erroneously calculated by the game itself. In fact, it has absolutely no idea what our Delta V is. This is beyond the standard game engine. You might be able to do with mere solar cells. I may be able to. Let me take a look at the power requirements required for the cryogenic tanks. Let's see here. There's some Warhammer mods for Tabletop Simulator if you want to play but don't want to buy or paint models. ME. I have actually taken a look at Vassal, and I think that would be interesting to run or to use. But of course, Vassal has its own fair share of issues. Okay, so we are very gently accelerating, and this Delta V is clearly erroneous. Let's take a look at mechanical jeb vessel info. Let's see here. Where's our Delta V stats? Stage Delta V. So we have quite a bit of Delta V remaining, even though we are experiencing boil off. All right. Let's see what's happening. Very low thrust, though. Very low thrust. We will have to scale up the engine. So this atomic engine is actually going to be pretty decent, in spite of its rather pathetic thrust. Now, in the 1980s, Transformers Toy in Japan was missing some of the actual figures, where the American and European figures they had come because they had come from different Japanese toy companies. Most notable be 7-figure from Bandai. Ah, I see. So in that sense, due to licensing issues, they had issues with that. That does reflect, I believe, in my mind, some of the ways that vehicle models in the 20th and 21st century had very strange, I suppose, names and other such things about them. Alright, let's see. We are pushing past the moon. Let's see if we can actually leave the sphere of influence utilizing this oh, yep, and we have. So if we do that adjustment, okay, excellent. So this sort of craft is actually decent. It has a lot of Delta V, and let's see, flight engineer, what are you doing? Get out of my way. Oh my goodness. Come on, flight engineer. Let's see, so orbit, surface vessel, rendezvous, okay. Heat, radiation flux. Oh, I see. So these are actually by default cryogenic fuel storage. It's just that we had no power. So that is actually okay. We simply did not have any power during launch. We don't need much thrust in orbit, just patience. Indeed, Rory, indeed, that is the case. I've actually started to play some friends on Tabletop Simulator. It's not bad, feels like the real thing, but much safer in these troubled times. Very understandable, very understandable. Vassal might also work, but it is a little more finicky in some regard than Tabletop Simulator. Alright, why don't we revert to vehicle assembly and continue on with our construction here. So let's revert flight to vehicle assembly. There we go. Most notable of those figures being the original Jetfire toy with a VSF. Oh yes, the Valkyrie. I see. Yes, that is definitely a licensing conundrum. Yushakun, welcome to the convoy. I see that there are raiders, and they are BTFOing us normies. I see. Oh my goodness. Thank you for the raid. Wingmates, prepare the defensive weaponry. We will have to hold off the raiders as long as we can. Autocannons coming online. Missile guidance enabled. Launching tube 1, tube 2. Missiles away, inbound. Impact in 10. ETA is changing, enemy is maneuvering away. Oh my goodness. Well, welcome. Yushakun, how has your stream been? Thank you for stopping by. This is greatly appreciated. Thank you, Wingmates, for defending our convoy. How's it going? I am doing quite well myself. Unfortunately, I was not able to present a lecture I wanted to have about my particular own vessel. So instead, we are actually constructing vessels for the Kerbals. But yes. We are currently enjoying some Kerbal space program. And Raiders, to anyone who does not know me, I am Spacer Haywire, an independent starship operator of the torchship vessel, the Wishful Thinking. The Wishful Thinking is a courier ship which is able to transport small masses of high-value cargo from system to system in a very timely manner. In fact, it is some of the fastest ways to get cargo around other than translation cargo vessels. And because of this lucrative job, I am able to make quite a bit of money, which allows me to expend it on the credits necessary to transmit data across the jump net, the 900 light years it takes to reach the Terran node. Now, I do have quite a bit of downtime thanks to my rather long burns, which I end up doing from jump point to delivery point, and of course from pickup point to jump point in the beginning. And so I spend that time streaming. It is a very excellent way to do it. It was great. I did some drawing and did some singing. Kerbal is a dang good time. Yushakun, well thank you. I'm glad that you enjoyed Kerbal. I hope that I will not disappoint, as I am using some more modifications now, and it is throwing me off a little bit, to say the least. Let's see here. Okay. But what were you doing some drawing of? And was the singing I suppose, singing or just some karaoke? Those two tend to have a different implementation. And once again, to anyone joining the convoy, I welcome you, and I hope that you enjoy your stay. But of course, if you have something else to do, please feel free to travel to a different convoy. What's the most dangerous delivery you've ever done? Anything past the boundaries of the jump net, where I have no data delivery. It was a payload of, let's see here. It was a payload of collected data from an exploration ship that needed to have quite a significant volume of survey information about a new planetoid that was being analyzed, delivered to corporate headquarters. And because I was out of the bounds of the jump net, I was basically on my own. If there was a failure, there would have been no practical way for me to get faster than light communications out to anyone, and I would have been trapped in the void. So that is the most dangerous delivery out there that I've had. Let's see here. Well, I like Kerbal OST while Spacer is explaining his channel. Oh, thank you. I'm glad okayist mod. I was drawing kind of something extra cursed. True. I did some karaoke on Saturday morning cartoons anime. Ooh, excellent choice. I suppose, Yusha-kun, what is your favorite Saturday morning cartoon that you've enjoyed? Out of the Terran ones, what would I say would have been my Western cartoon? Although anime and cartoon should probably be in different categories. Let's see here. And I would, of course, be interested in knowing what cursed thing you were drawing. I have quite a high tolerance to curses. Let's see, our radio system is not present in the Farson's coalition vessels. Oh, Alaric, of course they are. It's simply that I would be likely many light years from the nearest location that would be able to receive my signal. So if it was traveling at light speed, whatever communication I was using, be it radio wave or light, although coherent light communication would be impractical, there of course would be some issues. I would of course be drifting for many years, and if it was a serious emergency, I would likely not survive that. So that's the primary issue if you're away from FTL communications. Let's see here. 1 second, TK. Let's see, 2 figures were left out. Oh, 1 second, please. I see, so there was a merger with Takara. And the patents... Oh, and there was a patent nightmare. My goodness. That sounds... I need a diagram now, TK. I need a diagram. Those 2 figures, Omega Supreme and Skylynx, were released in Japan for the first time in 2007. Oh, I see. Okay, so... There reminds me of the Harmony Gold situation with Battletech. Oh, that's a very hard one. I think my absolute favorite was either Mega Man animated series or The Weekenders. It was a picture of Yozora doing the whole Yaranaika bench scene thing. Yaranaika bench scene. Very classic. Good taste, Yusha-kun. I'm glad to know that someone else enjoys such a wonderful piece of memery. And of course, and yes, Mega Man animated series was a very interesting one. Weekenders I have not seen myself, actually. Now, what would my favorite have been from what I have seen in Saturday morning cartoons? My goodness, that's actually a very tough question. I would need to look at a list to remember which ones there were. But what comes to mind immediately, I suppose? Well, out of the available anime that I had exposure to during my initial delving into Terran media when I was first figuring out how this particular JumpNet node relay was operating, I saw TV tuner feeds, and one thing I saw was definitely, oh my goodness, what was it called? Well, you know what I will say? This doesn't count as either, but Power Rangers were very interesting to me at a particular point in my existence. Gummy Bears. Ah, yes, Gummy Bears is an excellent one. Weekenders was an old slice-of-life Disney one. Oh, I see. I shall have to take a look so I at least know something like Space Hawks. I have heard of that one. Tailspin. Thank you for reminding me, Gorian. Tailspin might have actually been my favorite. Yes, it was. No, anime or cartoon. Ghost in the Shell. Is that a Saturday morning cartoon, ME? Tell me I'd forgotten that even had those patents until after they merged. It was a box of Toyline patent from failed lines. Wow. That is a very Japanese office thing to forget that you have something in a box. But I suppose that is what happens when you have a tradition of using manual management. I still have a copy of the OG Power Rangers movie. Ooh, excellent. Darkwing Duck. Ooh, another good choice. Conan the Adventurer. Ah, yes. The Somerset Strikers. Ah, the animated Battletech cartoon. I did not see that one when it was airing. Augersley, welcome to the convoy. Gargoyles was a personal favorite of mine. This one was fascinating. The aerial race one was interesting among the episodes, but there was an obscure game or two in Steam that had aerial racing with wacky planes. Excellent choices, Wingmates. All excellent choices. All right, let's continue construction. So we have very good ISP here, But we do need power for actually maintaining our cryogenic fuel here. So we will need some solar panels and batteries in order to back that up. How many watts does our cryogenic cooling cost us? Let's see here. Cryogenic cooling on off. I wish to know. What's my power usage here? Tank cost, mass ratio, dry wet mass, fuel delivery overlay. I see. We're having some problems here. Gargoyles was ahead of its time. Indeed it was. I have not seen the new DuckTales, but the Batman, the animated series, was also a piece of kino, as they would call it, I believe. Let's see. We're not going to switch the tank. Let's get rid of that. So we are running a liquid hydrogen for our orbital module. We need to actually make our orbital module an orbital module. So before we do anything else, let's take a look here. We will need thermal radiators, I think, for temperature control. Static shock. I've seen bits and pieces of that. Spider-Man, of course, another excellent classic. 90s DC Comics was definitely interesting work. X-Men, the animated series, also. Alright, let's see here. No, we'll need command options here first. So we have our reaction wheel. Let's add a proper battery. So this will be under electrical. Let's see here. Emmy-winning Batman cartoon. Yes, it won quite a few things. Alright, antimatter catalyzed fusion reactor. We are not going to be utilizing a fusion reactor. Let's take a look at our electricals. Solar panels, generators, power storage. Okay, so power storage. We may as well run a basic battery pack. We don't need too much power, so let's see here. Electric charge 200. And how much does the Rockomax fuel tank consume in terms of power? Mass, power, delta V, burn, power consumption, electrical, near future systems manager, solar panel simulator, monitoring toggles, all, depletion in 28 seconds. What is this? Let's see, I'm having a moment here. Okay, power consumption, generators, transmitters. So power, so the, Yeah, so the liquid-cooled engine generates 7 electrical charge per second. And I need to see my power consumption here. But this one isn't actually listing the cryo tank stuff for me, but I'm assuming it's going to actually not consume quite a bit of power. We'll use a radiothermal isotope generator, I think. Actually, we will be orbiting, so it'll be okay. Let me see what kind of weight costs this has. So, let's see, 0.05 tons, which is 50 kilos for the battery pack. Whereas the radioisotope thermoelectric generators, if we can have any of them. Let's see, toroidal hub. What is this? Let's see. Electrical storage, solar panels, generators. So let's see what we can use here. We might as well run something like that. Phase receiver array. Let's change it by mass. Oh, here we go. Some radioisotope generators. And it produces how much? Let's see, it produces electrical charge 0.8 per second. That may be enough for our passive power needs here. Oh my goodness, meat is raiding here. I apologize, wingmates, I was a little bit too busy there. Welcome meat. Welcome raiders. Oh my goodness. Wingmates, our convoy is growing strong, so I think we can fend off the impending raiders. Oonga boonga. Here they come.
Big rocks falling from sky. Flying on rock. Big raiders. Sky raiders. Attack tribe. Use rock to defend.
Yes, man the guns.
But also, throw rock. Gorgrug, throw big fire rock at me, tribe.
Cave people hunt Skyman. You no hunt Skyman. Skyman fly. Skyman bird. You berry pickers. You know, destroy Skyman and Sky Tribe. Meat Tribe, no good. Meat Tribe, no. Oh my goodness. Welcome, Meat. How are you doing today? What was your stream prior to this? There was quite a hubbub of activity, so I have not been able to keep up with anything. And welcome to everyone who is joining the convoy. To anyone who does not know, I am the Spacer Haywire and the independent starship operator of the torch ship Wishful Thinking. I make deliveries of low-mass, high-value goods from delivery pickup point to jump point. I jump through many light years. I arrive at the jump exit point, and I make a burn to your delivery point as fast as I can. Or, depending on the contractual terms, I will provide you with your money back again. Alright, let's have a battery, but we will also slap on our radioisotope thermal electric generator. So why don't we actually put on a proper battery? Why not? It won't kill us to have a real battery pack. Let's see here. Actually, we'll use radial batteries, I think. There's no problem with that. See, fairly big battery pack, so we'll do quad symmetry here. And we will put our center of mass more towards the center so that we do not run into issues. Let's see here. Good. We were doing some community stuff with a drawing game. Tons of fun. Oh, fantastic, Meat. That is wonderful. Let's see here. Meat made pretty cave paints. Excellent. It was a nice time. Well, I'm glad you were enjoying that. Oh, does it mean that Tim was involved in... Oh, I see. That is about the DC movies that we were discussing earlier. Is Meat Supreme Tribe a pizza? And if so, what would be on it? Ah, yes, Meat. What would be on your particular pizza? The meat pizza. No ties to the live-action movies, just animated. I see. Okay, let's see here. Bacon! Yes, bacon is an excellent combination of texture and flavor. I will say that. Alright, so to anyone joining us, we are actually using a highly modified Kerbal space program to launch a probe to Duna, which is the Kerbal equivalent of Mars for all intents and purposes, and I've been having a bit of a hard time constructing this vessel, so I apologize for that. We may actually go with solar panels. There's nothing wrong with them. They should work just fine considering how much battery storage we have. Let's see, we have 400 charge. That should be fine. We don't need a Gigantor array, I think. We'll run 4 3x2 panels, I think is what we'll do. And we can run them essentially right here. 4-way symmetry. There we go. So if we extend them, what will happen? There we go. Excellent. Going to visit Arippy. Yes, Arippy should still be streaming Mega Man. She is doing a month of Mega Man, if I recall correctly. Have a good time with that, Ray. Thank you for stopping by for as long as you could. That should be enough power for the cryonic tanks, I think. Remind me of a captain on an old Great Lakes, on a Great Lakes Laker ship. Now I'm imagining a space Laker in traditional style. I need to draw this now. Rory, you do some art. That would be fascinating to see. Most fascinating indeed. Phase array, what is that? Does that have gamer art on it? My goodness. What is that? Oh, it's a power reception array. Oh no, she ended it. I mean, she's from Mars. Oh, I see, Ray. I am so sorry. No worries. Sometimes I get a little caught up in my own thoughts, and that clearly was the wrong train of thought. But I'm glad to have you here. All right. So, triangle solar panel. No, I think I'll use the classics for this particular launch. The main thing I want from the mods is the better engines. We're going to use a liquid core reactor engine, which is a very interesting atomic development, which I need to do a lecture on at some point. Okay, my goodness. So we have generators. We might as well mount a pair of radioisotope thermoelectric generators. They're pretty light, only 80 kilos. And they do give us essentially unlimited power until the radioisotopes run out. So why don't we put some here near the center line? There we go. So in case we are out of the sun, we will have at least a little bit of supply for our cryonic tanks. There we go. Bruce Timm also worked as a comic writer for the DC Kids Comic Alliance. Your knowledge is far greater than mine on that, TK. I have very little experience with comics. Alright, let's move our ship up because we will need quite a bigger stage. Now, do we want to size tweak this? Tweak scale is already active. Could scale it up, but that does increase the tonnage. Let's see here. How much weight did we lose? Oh my goodness, that was a massive size change. Yes, that is not something we want. So we went up to... We went up several tons. No, I'm not going to be doing that. These atomic engines are incredibly dense. So there we go. Why not put the RTGs down by the other nuclear parts at the bottom and in line? Let's see. We could do that. I do not know if nuclear exposure is modeled, Rory, even though I think that would be most important to think about. Although RTGs generally have a very low emissions, and we're still quite a ways away from the cockpit itself, or from the pod itself. I suppose that wouldn't change the power flow in any way. I suppose what is your particular reasoning for putting them near the engine? I am most open to that. Except I just I do wonder how it would also interact with the fairings that I'm about to put on, because let me grab some couplers. So let's go back to the classic layout here and grab some inline couplers. So this is the 2.5 meter radius. Oh no, is it going to do that to me? Yes, it will. That's fine, that's fine. I was just thinking of a good idea having them not stick out. Well, as long as we don't have anything collide, that would be... yeah, we won't be having any fairings. But now that we have realized that there isn't a fairing issue anyways, we might as well simply plop them on the bottom. You're very right. For aerodynamics sake, that would be a good idea, Rory. Let's see here. Okay, so now that we have completed our orbital module, at least as a draft, why don't we actually... Why don't we go up here a little bit and begin building our next stage. So the second stage, which will be the one that we'll be using to... we can make another fairing. Yes, we could make a fairing. I have stack separators, clamp patrons, radial attachment. Truss docking node. That is beyond me right now. And an older decoupler. I think we'll just put some struts here. I looked away for a second, that looks like a syringe. For now, it does. We will be slapping on more fairings. Let's see here. Okay. Wait, did you remember to put a chute on the pod? Very good point. Thank you for that critical reminder. Let me go for landing parts, and we will put a parachute. Radial parachutes. So let's see here. We have radial mat parachutes. Let's see. And they're... packed volume, stacking capacity, effective diameter. Let's see. So we have a 75 kilogram part, and then we have a 100 kilogram parachute. And this one has a larger diameter. Let's see, we could run 2 of these. I think you don't need quite... I think we only need 2 of them. Maxim Sharpie, welcome to the convoy. It is good to see you here. We are currently building a Duna shot. Drugs don't slow you down. Well, I'm going to be using radials here, so that should be okay. The radials I've had good luck with. Not well, anyway. But I did want to keep this docking port on top. I don't know, I've had pretty good luck with these radial mounted parachutes, actually. Which is a little bit... It's not odd to me. Why don't we stick on a pair of these larger size chutes, just to be on the safe side. There we go. And we'll put them here, by the... It doesn't matter too much where they are. But I don't want to cover up any of the hatches. There we go. We'll put them by the nose. And while we're still here, let's put some couplers on. Electrical, SIRSU. What is this? Oh, this is all sorts of research stuff here. Okay, let's see here. A doomsday shot? A Duna shot, the Mars equivalent planet. Let's see here. What would you say is your favorite IRL rocket is? I think I may have asked you this before. I think for sheer madness, the N1 Soviet rocket would be one of my favorites. Simply because it had all of those cantankerous radially mounted engines, which is an absolute nightmare of a design, but very cool to see. Let's see, so it's not cargo, it's not sub-assemblies. Let's go back to the classic categories. That would be in coupling, I think. Alright, let's have a Clampatron Senior, I think, in this case. N1, yes, N1 indeed. It's a very interesting rocket, aesthetically speaking. Yes, it does look like an upside-down ice cream cone of the waffle variety, but that's makes it more interesting. Oh, the IRSU lets you make more fuel where you land. In-situ resource utilization, I think it's an acronym. Oh, thank you, Rory. I have not utilized in-situ resource reduction yet, but I would like to do that on Luna at some point, just to get a hang of it. Okay, so orbital assembly docking port. That is a new part to me. And we can, of course, run the classic Clampatron. Let's get rid of symmetry, just in case. There we go. So we have a shielded Clampatron on the surface of our craft. And we'll need to make sure that we open the shield and that we latch on a craft. I suppose, the landing module. Madness, the rocket. Yes. The N1 was a very interesting design. The history of it is also rather fascinating. And one of the things I think I found most interesting is that for the 20th... Apologies, wingmates, I had a bit of a hiccup there. And the 21st century, the engines made for the N1 project ended up being utilized in other rockets, many of them being, I believe, smaller by far. They had to use spherical tanks on the N1 because they didn't have good metal thickness. That's why it's got a cone shape. It also has so many rockets because they couldn't make big engine bells. Those engines, by the way, were the most efficient and powerful engines for decades. It's just a shame they tended to blow up. Yes, at least in their earlier iterations, when the project was being rushed, they did have a tendency to blow up. But yeah, I forget the model name for the N1's engine, but most definitely that is a very powerful, very efficient. Oh, there we go. Ah, that is interesting. That is a very cool docking port, an aerodynamic and shielded one. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. But thank you for the explanation. Spherical tanks are very handy. NK-33. There we go. The nomenclature for that is always a bit of a doozy to remember with all of the Soviet rocket engines. Okay, so now we're going to need our second stage. So this one will need quite a bit of delta V here. Okay. So, why don't we get another 2.5 meter tank. Oh, Dippy, I'm glad that you finished the meme. Thank you. And Shimada, welcome to the convoy. Yenisei is a very funny shaped one too. Yenisei. Let's see here. And the NK-43 vacuum engine. Oh, that's right. They have to have different nozzles, of course. The Yenisei. That is not ringing a bell for me, but I will, of course, take a look right now. 1 second, please. Say rockets. Oh! I see. 1 second. Ah, that is a very odd design. Shimada, you are keeping up with the developments much more than I am. Of course, you are an astronaut, Shimada. But, that looks like a proton to me, without the actual, oddity that the proton looks like it has boosters, but the engines are permanently fixed to the actual body of the rocket. I see. Yes, that is a very tightly boosted rocket. My goodness. Okay, so let's continue onward with our fuel tanks. Oh, it's such a huge, vast quantity of tanks. No, we're not going to use a bigger second stage, although I think we may inevitably have to. I'm definitely willing to actually go a little bit bulkier to not go taller so that our center of mass is a little more reasonable. Let's see here. So let's add a coupler, a Kerbodyne adapter. There we go. And we're going to add one of these bigger Kerbodyne heavy tanks. Cryogenic tanks. The extended manual states initiate crash override case of acid burn. Oh my goodness, what a powerful tank. Alright, let's see here. Space Tiger, yes. Classic Kerbal maneuver. It looks like a cluster, just like a cluster of boosters. Yes, we will be putting on more and more boosters. Stuff like this makes me wish I went to aero and not mechanical engineering. Well, mechanical engineering goes into its own nitty-gritty. So I suppose, and not everyone gets to design rockets, unfortunately. Oftentimes, engineering does end up just being making fixtures and jigs for work. Specifically material science. Of course, that will change the focus of what you end up being a part of. Let's see, we may want to extend that stage just a little bit. Okay. So what is our, okay, so stage 3 currently has, oh my goodness, we are going up in tonnage. We're already at 150 tons. 150 tons total, my goodness me. The rocket industry is a tight one. Indeed, Rory, indeed it is. Connections and a very good resume will help you succeed, although also never forget the factor of luck. So the question now is, do we want to use an atomic engine for stage 2, or do we want to use liquids? Or do we want to do something different? I think because I've been playing a lot of Children of a Dead Earth, which has a lot of liquid engines, or my goodness, nuclear engines. I feel like using more nuclear engines for this particular craft, considering our first stage will simply be an absolutely enormous planetary takeoff booster. So why don't we use nuclear here? We're going to be reusing this craft for many approaches, I think, because it will have an absurd delta V, perhaps. Let's see, do we want to run a light bulb? I don't think we do, because that is a 16-ton commitment. Let's see here. So we have nuclear rockets. We could run a bunch of nerves all slapped together, or we could scale it up. We could run the Timberwind. Let's see here. What size is it? The Timberwind is quite massive, and it's a rotating fluidized bed reactor. Let me take a look. It's been some time since I've looked at all of these various varieties of near future style reactors. Let's see. Rotating liquid reactor. I think I understand how that one's laid out, but I just need to double check that. Let's see here. We could run a nuclear saltwater rocket. We could. Let's see here. So this one will be running. Once you get out of the atmosphere, weight doesn't really matter. Oh, not at all, not at all. Especially, I think it's at that point the high ISP is what we want, the specific impulse. And 1,000 is pretty good. What's the thrust to weight on this? Because I do want some actually decent thrust. So vacuum thrust is 310 kilonewtons. So that is, let's see, and how much was I running here? Okay, so that is 5 times more, but we will simply have to do a slow burn, it seems. That'll be okay. That'll be okay. We will live with that. So I think we'll be doing the rotating fluidized bed reactor. Let's see, rotating fluidized bed on my reference console here. I just need a diagram to remember the particulars of the design. Let's see here. Okay. No, that has no images. Okay, so it is essentially a atomic fluid centrifuge. It's quite intense. Okay. So, do I need any cooling for this? Let's take a look here. Generator must be started. Reactor power radiator. Okay. So this one has different radiators. Okay. Surface area bonus, and it radiates. How much waste heat does this generate? Let's take a look here. Oh my goodness, all of these statistics are insane. Actinides. Amount starts with 0. Good. We don't want the reactor to fail. Thermal power, waste heat. Okay. Thrust. Thermal power. Okay, so it produces quite a few megawatts of actual reactor power, but most of that will be going on through the nozzle. So hopefully it won't overheat, but we'll have to do some test flights, I think. Okay, so this I think is a sufficient engine for us. And we will probably be running it with liquid hydrogen for that highest specific impulse once again. Even though we will have to pay a penalty in terms of cryogenically storing the fuel. So let's get rid of that. And we're going to skip that. Hydrogen, there we go. Total tank cost, total tank mass, 8 tons. So it's definitely a less dense fuel. Let's see here. Oh, all right. Okay, hydrogen, and making sure that this tank is also hydrogen. Okay, so our delta V right now is about 2.5k on this stage here. Whereas on stage 1 we have about 4.5 kilometers per second of delta V, which is a lot. We could use this craft probably to reach the farthest distances in Kerbin, or in the Kerbal system. So, with this absurd behemoth, we now need to somehow get it into orbit. Now, we might cheat a little bit here. Oh, we're actually going to lose a lot of delta V by having to have a lander. So before we do anything else, why don't we create a lander? So a Duna lander, how much delta V does it need? I need to double check that. 1 second, please. Let's see here. So let me, on a reference page, pull up the map, the delta V map. So, Kerbal delta V map. There we go. So basically, we need to make sure that we have enough ability to change our velocity in order for us to actually be able to reach our targets. Now, come on. And this delta V map is essentially if you're doing a specific kind of maneuver, because delta V could technically be much higher than one would expect, depending on what burn you're doing. But most certainly, I apologize. There we go, here's the cheat sheet. Okay, so to Duna, it is going to cost us a total of 6,500 delta V. Let's see, to take off of Kerbin, we need 3,400 delta V, so 3.4 K delta V. And to leave the orbit, we need 950. And then to actually adjust our orbit to get to Duna is not much. And Duna's surface is, let's see here. What's the key here? Okay, so Duna's surface is 1,450. So we may want to use a space plane for this, actually. So we don't have to land, we do not have to land in a way that will expend more fuel. Okay, so that is actually going to be a problem. Oh, 1 second please, wingmates, I apologize. There we go. So, for anyone with experience with Kerbal Space Program, what do you think about using a space plane to land on Duna? Of course, a rocket-powered space plane that will likely shed its wings, if I can get that to work, and then take off like a normal rocket. Or actually, I could use... since there's no breathable atmosphere, it doesn't matter. but the main thing is I would like some control and actually using my wings. Atomic turbojet time. Perhaps. A little less. Welcome to the convoy. It is good to see you here. So we may actually need to save this rocket. We're going to call it the Spacer Haywire prefix so that we remember that it's ours. And we will call it the Duna... the Duna Duma. I don't know. There we go. That's a poor name. If anyone else can think of a name, that would be much better. Eminis, welcome to the convoy. I'd say go for a ton of parachutes. I see. That would likely be much lighter than having an aerodynamic structure, especially considering how much of a nightmare it will be on takeoff. Okay, let's see here. So, why don't we... yeah, we might go with a classic launcher. And Mutant Carrot, have I said hello to you? If not, I do apologize. Welcome to the convoy. Allow me to hydrate briefly 1 second, wingmates. Let's see here. Okay, so let's save the design. So far with the interim name. Let's actually launch and go right to orbit, because I want to see if this thing is even remotely capable of operating. Let's see here. There is no test like a real test in a simulation. Okay, so we're going to set our orbit to right above Kerbal, and let's see what happens when we turn on SAS and go prograde. There we go. Okay, so that is decent, that is decent. And let's fire up the engine. There we go. Let's see what we can do with a prograde. Our acceleration is decent. How is our heat doing here? Temperature is hitting 58,000. We need more fuel. We're gonna need more fuel. Nyaru, welcome to the convoy. Hydrate or dihydrate. I see, it's a threat. It's a threat after all. That is more than acceptable. Cooling is inadequate, it appears to be. Let's see here. Radiator cooling on. So, it is almost all of the... okay, let's see. I'm not quite sure what cooling percentage means. Okay, what are we looking at? Oh, wow! That is incredible thrust! Let's cut the engine. So with that, we were able to actually adjust our orbital velocity quite a bit. Okay. But we simulate the Chinese rocket program where to find where it lands. Well, we can actually do another engine test by going retrograde and cranking up to 100 once again. And we're going to use our gimbaling to adjust ourselves. There we go. And we're just going to kill our orbital velocity. The simulation IRL happened here. So let's see, how are we doing? Do I need a radiator? So we're almost out of reaction mass, but we're actually doing quite well. I'm most interested in not melting down the engine. That is my main issue, because this mod adds so much. Let's see, megajoules, depleted fuel. We are not going to have depleted fuel. Alright, let's see. We are almost out of Delta V on top stage. And let's see. We collided. Oh, SAS. Keep facing retrograde. Activate the engine and go. So this is another atomic rocket that we're using. It's the liquid core reactor engine. Let's see. Let's also double check that it doesn't melt down. So the heat sink is climbing in temperature. We are radiating waste power. We are slowing down our orbital velocity, and we need to check our delta V, quite honestly. Let's see here. Where is the flight engineer? So body, not landing, burn, edit, maneuver, body, heat. Rendezvous vessel. Delta V total. So clearly this is wrong. This is totally messed up. We're going to have to rely on flight engineer, I think. Let's see here. Give me the Delta V. Alright, here we go. Delta V stats. Yes, we have quite a bit of delta V remaining. And we should actually be able to bring us to a total standstill in orbit. Okay, our apoapsis is approaching us. We are still burning prograde, which is good. We are canceling our vector. We should actually be able to do so. And the engine temperature is climbing, and I'm very curious to see if we'll explode. Although I don't think we would actually ever be burning it like this. Braking, braking, braking. Let's see, reactor control window. Oh my goodness, that is a lot of reactor energy or management here. Tritium storage, actinide storage, electric priority. Next propellant. Oh, I see, you can switch between different fuels. Okay, let's see here. Because we could switch to an actual conventional burn for more thrust. Let's see here. Because I think there's something very special about this particular nuclear engine. Why so much burn? Because this is a nuclear engine. So it has a very high specific impulse. And it's also a very weak engine. So it has very low thrust. But we are also saving a lot on weight. Because nuclear engines are incredibly heavy. So instead we're going to have to burn longer and have very bad thrust, but we will be able to actually do quite a bit. So let's speed up time a little bit. Let's see how much we can slow our orbital velocity down. We're going to turn off SAS. All right. Come on, come on. So the engine should not be overheating. Oh! No, the engine overheated. Okay, wingmates. So that was a very good test that we did, because we now learned that that engine is more than capable of overheating. Let me see if there's a log here, because I need to know what happened there in terms of failure for the engine. It's not overheating anymore, indeed. Indeed, it's not. So we have our RTGs that are doing what they need to be doing. Okay, so we're using 8 kilowatts for our... Are we venting? Are we venting? No, I don't think we're venting. The cooling is on. And, okay, so we actually have a very high drain. If we look at the electric charge, the batteries we provided are actually very insufficient. So let's open up solar panels. Let's see here, and see if we can actually cancel that away. Normally we will have solar panels. Let's extend our... Oh, no, we are re-entering, so this doesn't matter. Let's see, can we stabilize our electric charge? Oh, and there we go. Let's see how badly this rocket will overheat as it plummets. Oh my goodness, that was some strange aerodynamic forces. Let's test the stability of our capsule here. Oh my goodness. Let's close the shield. There we go. Oh, in fact the chute's auto-deployed. Wonderful. And we'll see if they're enough to actually land the thing. Mundo, welcome to the convoy. It is good to see you here. But yes, as you can see, we are currently just testing out some of the basics, and we did learn that we will need more radiators for our particular engine, because we were overheating. So we're going to do a couple more of those test runs, because I am unfamiliar with the atomic rockets that we are using here. And the engineering design. Oh, will this work? Will this work? Or do we not have enough parachute? No, I think we have enough. I think we have enough parachute. Our velocity is now 7.5 meters per second. So let's do a time warp to 4x, and hopefully we will land. Now let's see, sea level, terrain level. We need terrain level. Alright, come on. Oh, there was the parts of the rocket going down. So I think this will land just fine. Okay, so let's revert to the launch center. Revert to vehicle assembly. Urquell, look, did I say hello to you earlier, or did I not? Looks, you survived. Not so much of that editing is needed. Hopefully not, hopefully not. The main issue that we learned was that this rocket does not have enough cooling on it. So, how do we add more cooling? We'll need thermal. So let's go here and we'll go to engines. Aluminum engines. We're not going to be using aluminum engines. We're going to be using not science parts, electrical landing parts, aero parts, structural parts. Might be here that we'll have radiators. Solid rocket boosters. Now, you know what? The category is probably in the original thermal. Let's take a look at our thermal options here. Maybe. I have been lurking this time. Oh, okay, of course, no problem. But welcome to the convoy in case I have not said it before. So this stage will clearly require some thermal management. So we have our Delta V figures here. Now, where is my... Let's see, where is my thermal stuff? I think this is where the calculators get a little bit strange. Okay, so let's look at thermals. So heat production, all on, total heat rejection. I am not quite sure what this means, but this is not calculating anything that I want, oddly enough. Oh, I see. I have to punch things in. Okay. Let's see here. Well, let's take a look at our maximum thermal output for the engine. Maximum theoretical power. Radiator. Okay. Do that on, off. It is very strange. Okay. Maximum radiator temperature, surface area 1.2 meters. Okay, so we will probably need some kind of small, lightweight radiator. So we're going to sort radiators by mass. So we could do these graphene blanket radiators. But we could, of course, also do titanium convectors. Okay, so that is an in-atmosphere. That is not a very good thing for us. Graphene radiator winged, graphene radiators folding large. And it's about half a ton in weight. My goodness, radiators are very heavy. Oh, actually, no. All of the radiators we need are here. So we have waste heat 1000, waste heat 22,000. So graphene radiators are, for the bang, much better. So we could use a skin wrapper radiator and plop a pair of them on this particular craft. And that should be enough, theoretically speaking. Now let's see here. Flat graphene radiator panel, flat graphene radiator skin. We'll go with this. We'll put a pair of these panels on here. And it rejects how much heat? Quite a bit. So we should be able to reject a lot of the heat that we're going to be dealing with. A pair of these panels. Sure, we can use the smaller ones. No, the weight is so similar it doesn't matter. Okay, so a pair of these panels. There we go. We now have radiators. Let's see here. Radiator cooling. On, off. Probably want that on. Oh no, it's automated. There we go. Scale is fine. Alright, there we go. Random tangent. Sure, Gorian. What is the random tangent? I apologize, I've been a little bit buried in making sure this craft doesn't explode. Jim, you can make a super thick pancake in a rice cooker. Yes, Gorian. I have actually seen footage of that. It is very, very fascinating. Although, I don't know if at that point you can call it a pancake. It ends up being... what does it end up being? It ends up being more of just a cake. Although I suppose the texture is not typical of the usual yellow sponge cake that one would associate with that particular sort of thing. The rice cooker pancake recipe is a Japanese specific thing. Indeed it is. Do you like sweets, Spacer? I do not particularly have a sweet tooth anymore, Kimmy. I used to. So I do have experience with sweets, it's just that right now I generally do not engage in that. Sponginess for those Japanese-style cakes is closer to souffle texture and consistency. Not even astronaut ice cream. Odette, welcome to the convoy. Not even astronaut ice cream, Odette. Not even astronaut ice cream. It was surgically removed. Great sadness. My interest in sweet I do apologize. I did not mean to do so. Alright, let's see here. I do like that mission flags can be changed. If I had to say in the past, what was my favorite dessert? I believe that soft serve custard, not soft serve ice cream, but custard, which was essentially soft serve with egg, is a close tie to Napoleon torte, which was it's essentially very thin not wafers, almost like a dense crepe. It's almost like crepe, sort of matter, some sort of dough, layered with very thick custard cream. Or that actually may be a different name for it. Let me see here. Napoleon torte. Let's see. Yes, Napoleon torte is it. So it's like a wafer slash crepe. It's softer than a wafer, but not quite as floppy as a crepe. And those are layered with a very thick custard in between them. But if I had to pick, I suppose, a single pure sweet, that would be chocolate. Just plain dark chocolate. Millefeuille? I'm not... yes, it is a little bit like millefeuille texture, I suppose, Ringo. Ice cream. I see when something mint green flavored, then I always pick some to freezer in case I make homemade cake or something. Nice addition. Yes, ice cream cake is a very popular thing, at least in 21st century Terra and 20th century Terra. Things with caramel are my favorite. I had braces when I was forbidden, so I was younger, so it was forbidden food. With stroopwafels being the caramel sin of choice. Very nice, very nice. Stroopwafels are very interesting. Wingmates, what is your preferred dessert? That would be interesting to know. Okay, so we have some more heat rejection. Let me see what is going on here with the engine. There we go. Interstellar thermal mechanics helper. So total radiator area, maximum dissipation, 224 megawatts. Waste production at 100 power. Okay, so right now we have enough power for our reactor, enough heat dissipation for our reactors here. Reactor resting temperature, thermal source resting temperature. Okay. Electrical power output. Okay, so we do have enough dump right now, I think. I think we do. That should be good. Oh goodness, we have that issue once again. Let's see here. Spacer, what are your thoughts on ruby chocolate? I have to remember, because I know that ruby chocolate is a little funny. I think, if I recall, it is... ruby cocoa bean. Let's see here. Ruby cocoa beans. I see, okay. So it's simply a different kind of cocoa bean. I have not had the personal experience with ruby chocolate. In fact, sweets are rather generally unavailable unless they are synthesized or you are in a terraformed world with the correct hospitable climate for it. But I have very few thoughts. What are your thoughts, Ringo, on ruby chocolate? Or Wingmates, what are your thoughts? Ooh, Dango! Nice choice, Shimada. Erkaline, cheesecake, also a classic. Flan or milk chocolate? Ooh, flan is very, very pleasant. Gotta come out of looking to say cheesecake and tiramisu. Ooh, Charlotte, welcome to the convoy. Good to see you. Yes, excellent choices, excellent choices. Tiramisu is a wonderful treat of flavors and smells. S'mores, ooh, very, very classic, and also typically comes with an interesting experience of having a campfire and also the physicality of creating the s'more itself. S'mores, I don't think hard about it, but maybe eclairs au millefeuille. I see, Ringo, I see. So that is sort of the texture and filling that you enjoy. Literally drinking a carton of creme anglaise. They sell it in a carton in Quebec. I see, Rory. Do you enjoy that the most, or is that simply what you have on hand? Tylo Vetex, welcome to the convoy. I see that you just made brownies. Excellent. Cinnamon buns for Kimmy Spice. Ah, yes, frosted or unfrosted, Kimmy. I think Ruby takes a while to get around to be the new normal. Is there any particular advantage to the Ruby chocolate that I am not aware of? I have not had an opportunity to research it significantly. What frosting? Coffee crumb cake. Ooh, oxide. I see, with a little bit of a left field move. Coffee crumb cake is very interesting. A more typical sponge cake, but with a wonderful texture on top. Good old red velvet cake. Yes, that's a good one, Mundo. Coffee cake is good stuff. Ooh, I see that we have some coffee cake chads in the chat. Ruby Beans has just recently discovered a botanical variety of cocoa. I guess it's sort of what big difference does it make is always my question from an engineering perspective. If it is simply more expensive, well, then that's that is somewhat of a off-putting thing to me. But if there is actual advantage to it, then of course I will pay attention. In terms of flavor, at the very least. I heard that Ruby chocolate has a fruity, bitter taste, but I never tried it. It's pretty, though. Indeed, it is very aesthetic, Odette. Where are we headed, Commander? Esmedavsta, welcome to the convoy. We are headed to Duna, and I'm using some atomic engines because we are using a modded version of Kerbal Space Program. And I think I will actually begin creating the first stage, because I think the second stage is... it's adequate. It's decent enough. Ruby chocolate tastes a little like raspberries, actually. Not too bitter. Not that bitter unless it's a certain straight blend, I guess. I see. I will admit something, wingmates. If I am to enjoy chocolate, I would prefer to enjoy it in its pure form. Completely 100% black chocolate. Because I think that in that particular state, it has very interesting flavors, especially if you really take your time to savor it. It's not an experience for everyone, but I think that it can be enjoyable. Disgusting. You are free to depart the convoy, Odette. I do not force it upon you, but it is my view that I enjoy it. Black chocolate, the Spanish way of enjoying it. I see. I did not know that was a cultural trope with Spain. Or is it Spain in particular, or also the Southern American continent? Or the Spanish-speaking world, shall I put it? They serve it as espresso drink at times. Oh, I see. I'd like to try that. Ultraviolet Combat, welcome to the convoy. I'd like to try that. For sure, it has a raspberry taste. Interesting. What's the landing configuration on that boy? We do not have the pod yet for the lander. So I think we should do that, because then we will see our Delta V figures. And yes, reinstall it and put mods on it. Thank you for being here and your tips, Rory. I will do my best to not crash this. Thank you. I've had a hot chocolate in Spain. Yeah, it's just like melted chocolate with churro things. Yes, I have heard of that. Chocolate trufflets, which are barely sweet, are good for me. Chocolate trufflets. I suppose there's many ways you could do that. Let's see here. So let's build our our lander can. Ooh, so this is a lander that will have to go through the atmosphere. This is becoming a bit of a problem here. You can normally do up to 80%, says Nyaru. Well, that is okay. I believe that dark chocolate is an acquired taste. You do not have to force yourself to enjoy it. For some people, it will not be enjoyable at any point. This is interesting. It's been a while since I've thought about an atmospheric landing on any particular planet. So we will want to have... The atmosphere is not very dense on Duna, so let me quickly take a look here, wingmates. I need a bit of a reference for a second. Maybe it's the pleb way, but I think milky chocolate is the best. I can't understand the appeal of super dark. It's like tasting the color black. Well, I think if you do it enough, a lot of things that normally have no flavor end up developing it, especially if it's the only thing you do for a while. So I totally understand that, Odette. I also had a very distinct preference for milk chocolate, as it had that wonderful creaminess to it, and worked quite well. But I suppose that one can get used to dark chocolate if they try hard enough. And of course, if they think they are cool enough for it. I'm kidding, of course, wingmates. You do not have to be cool to enjoy dark chocolate. Alright, let's see here. So, Duna atmospheric entry. Let's see here. I always forget how bad Duna's atmosphere is in terms of landing. Let's see here. Atmospheric flight. Good for aero capture, so we will definitely be doing aero capture. It appears that target range lies between 10 and 20 kilometers. Parachutes will deploy and in the atmosphere so thin. They generally will not be able to do that, and you will need to assist with engines, landing, parachute performance. Below 5 kilometers. Performing a horizontal landing with a plane is also possible. Okay. So, you will definitely be using aero capture. So I think one thing we could try, actually, is to develop a lander. So we're going to save the Duna launcher here. We're actually going to create a new craft. We're going to close Mech Jeb here for a second. Okay, so what we are going to do... Let's see here. You trained yourself to enjoy the let's see here. Very dark chocolate... Bunzel, welcome to the convoy. Very dark chocolate above 95% is really nice, but I totally get why some people wouldn't like that. Indeed, indeed. Milk chocolate's flavor, very surprisingly. Varies per country, surprisingly. Yes, and by brand, too. It takes different ways of enjoying it, or different manufacturers to produce it differently. Let's see, so let's build a lander that might have atmospheric entry capability. So let's build a lander can. Actually, we'll build a space plane, I think. We'll build a space plane. Where did that go? Where did that go? Come back here. Oh, there's the lander can. We were scrolled away. Let's see here. Yes, I did train it myself to enjoy the flavor, Odette. Milk chocolate is best. I see, I see. Chat opinions. I find I like dark chocolate the most when I have dried fruit to have with it. Ah, I see. So pairing. Yes, pairing. Okay, here's a strange one, wingmates. But dark chocolate with cheese. I think that might be a little bit of an interesting challenge, especially if it's a strong, aged cheese. That is an interesting combination. You're right, Ringo. German and Swiss taste totally different. Yes, they do. Japan and European milk chocolate has a very different taste. Yes, it does indeed. The one time I had a good fortune to end up in Bavaria, I was floored by how much better the sweets and pastries were compared to the United States. Yes, with a lack of perhaps corn syrup and a bunch of emulsifiers, you do end up having to do it differently. The Euro and Japan milk chocolate has a smoother texture and throat feel and less sugar to it. Yes, that is very true. Cheese and peanut butter or cheese and apple pie. Cheese in general is such a varied thing that it is. So some cheeses I definitely would not pair with chocolate or with fruit. But some cheeses do have that power to them, and I do think aged cheeses are best for that. Chocolate from Albania and Serbia has a sort of tartness to it. Interesting. So that is the regional variety there. Are chocolate and cheese in the same bite? Yes, Odette. Yes, Odette. Intriguing. Kimmy Spice, you also enjoy that sort of thing. I get dragged in for liking chocolate and potato chips. Oh, you know, that is... It's a lot going on there. Chocolate combined with something salty and perhaps a bit of texture. That is interesting. There are, I believe I have seen in archives, potato chips coated in chocolate already sold pre-packaged. Nyaru. I think that Europe has a healthy small business and generational baking and cooking institutions. Yes, indeed. Oh my goodness. All right, well, there is a lot going on with the chocolate. Let me actually try to assemble something. A space plane here. Let's see here. We'll do a Mark I cockpit, because we are going to be doing a light spaceplane lander. Let's see here, and we will be doing airplane fuselage. Fries and a milkshake. Yes, that is also very similar. And chocolate and potato chips sounds good, like chocolate pretzels. Yes, very much like that. Fries and a milkshake is just churros in radical form. Although I guess a potato churro. And cheese shop in Winnipeg, and there was chocolate cheese. Had a texture of cheddar, but tasted really bitter chocolate. Interesting. Is that actual cheese flavored with chocolate? It was gross. Sea salt chocolate is top tier. Lift ship, welcome to the convoy. Yes, I did. Choco train chain derail. Yes, chocolate gets people very excited, it appears. Bakeries that have been for generations getting our ingredients straight out of farm, just from the side of time. Yes. Although you can probably find those in any country, I suppose the frequency of them varies. Okay, focus on 5 things at once, streamer. Yes. Okay, so let's build our fuselage for the space plane. We're going to be doing a very basic one. Let's see here. Mark I liquid fuel fuselage. Let's see. We're going to do a very basic space plane, I think. Something that will just get us to fly. Let's see here. We can put quite a few different liquid fuels in there. Segmented. Oh, a hex segment tank. Oh my goodness, that is a very interesting one. Okay. Drop tank. Okay, Mark 1 to Mark 2 adapter. Let's see, do we have a Mark 1 fuel tank? Liquid fuselage. Let's see here. Well, we're going to be running a rocket anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. So we can use the classic... we're probably not going to use an atomic rocket on the surface of Mars. It simply doesn't have enough thrust. I guess Spacer will be taking the route near the planet, which has chocolate in stock. I could go near a terraformed world on my way back to my typical waiting point for any sort of package, but oh, I see that there's a page called Only Flans. But in general, I do not stop by for things like that. I can simply attempt to wait for the next thing. Alright, let's see here. Where is my Mark 1 fuselage? My goodness, my goodness. Just for the nostalgia. Wonder if the future people will start interplanetary system wars because of chocolate. Generally speaking, the meaning of what is valuable changes very dramatically once you begin living in extra solar life, especially away from a terraformed worlds. It's not the luxuries that have meaning. While chocolate is important, nutritional rations that contain more of the important things you need are definitely much more valuable, along with oxygen, fusion fuel, and other such assets. And now everyone's hungry. So chocolate is an immense rarity in the Star Wars galaxy. I did not know that. That seems like extended universe canon. Why am I having so much trouble locating the correct fuselage? Why must this always happen? Let's see here. 2.5 meter Mark II adapter. This is going to be a very small space plane. There we go. The classic fuel tank. That's all I ever wanted. Alright, let's see here. Liquid fuel. There we go. Like potato needs stuff. Buy headfirst in a pirate fleet for grilled cheese. Oh, I see. Grilled cheese is an excellent thing. Ah, Nyaru, I hope you get some good rest. Thank you for being with the convoy. It was an offhand statement. That seems like something that would happen in the I suppose the Star Wars canon. Okay, let's see here. X-core fuel tank. Oh, that's for the drop tanks. Okay. I think we may want a little bit more fuel here. Okay, I'm gonna go back to fuel tanks and go back to liquid fuel Mark 1. There we go, that is a much better category. You know, this lander may actually have enough, but I don't think it will. We'll have to test it out on Duna, to be honest. Okay, so let's get a rocket engine here. We're not going to need a rapier engine. We're going to need... So we go back to engines, we go to rockets. We're going to use a gimbaled engine, I think. Let's see, a gimbaled one, electric pumped. I'm going to sort by mass because I need the lightest engine possible for this lander. Rutherford vacuum optimized, electric pumped. No, I'm gonna need turbine pumped. Reliant, swivel, Terrier. Does Terrier have any gimbaling? Let's see, gimbal. Yes, Terrier has gimbaling. And Terrier may actually be enough for the weight of our spaceplane. So let's put some aerodynamic parts on this. Let's see, so all parts in aero, ablative heat shields, wings. So let's put some wings on our spaceplane. Control surfaces. Oh, that's too big of a delta wing. Let's see here. Swept wing type A, structural wing type A. We don't need much to make this fly, I think. Shiloh Spirit, welcome to the convoy. Great to see you here. We're playing some Kerbal Space Program, and now we're designing a lander for our expedition. I don't like this cockpit, actually. I think that we want a different cockpit. Oh, because we will have to dock this somehow to our lander. Or actually, we could do a piggyback carry for this. And a piggyback wouldn't be the worst thing ever. Let's see here. Okay, there we go. Okay. Grilled cheese is worth the bloodshed. I see there are some strong opinions in the chat. Okay. I apologize for how long this is taking, wingmates, but I suppose planning for a trip to Duna is a little more complicated than a vacuum landing. How much mass do these wings have? 200 kilos. I don't want that. I want something a lot lighter. We could use the heavy delta. I am concerned by the heavy delta, but I think we could try it. We could try the heavy delta wing. Okay. And we will need a vertical stabilizer. So control surfaces. Please give me a vertical stabilizer. Big elevons. Let's see here. Standard canard, tail fin. Yeah, we'll just do a standard tail fin, I think. And we'll do no symmetry. Oh, that is way too big. We don't need nearly that much control surface. We have a radiator tail fin. That might actually be rather nice. Nope, too big. Elevon. Something you can attach to a wing. Although, no, we should be doing this in plane mode. There we go. We're gonna have to rotate the entire assembly, though. Oh no. I've made quite the error here. There we go. And perfect. Right, so now we can actually do the plane assembly a little bit better. Oh, no problem for bringing up food. I think many people are interested in that. Let's take a look at our center of thrust, center of gravity, and center of, let's see, center aerodynamic overlay. So we want to make sure our center of drag is behind our center of gravity. That's important. Probably want our lifting body to be symmetry this way. Oh, and there we go. Perfect. Oh, no, yeah, we want our lift to be more towards our center of gravity. There we go. We're going to add a standard canard. No, a winglet. We only need a winglet. And we're going to do single symmetry. There we go. Now let's make sure this is even. Perfect. So we have a horizontal control surface, and I think we will need a very light elevon that we will attach to the wings. Let's see. Hopefully this will be enough for a control surface. Come on, come on. I always forget how to do these. I do have to rotate them, I think. Go. There we go. Okay, so this is a basic space plane. We should test out how well it will work. I did it first with pizza. Speaking of grilled cheese, I used to great diners. If it doesn't have the option to come with plain tomato soup, I leave. Oh my goodness, Gorian. How do you rate a diner if that is such an important thing? I don't know if every single cultural, I suppose, culture has a way of having tomato with with grilled cheese. My goodness. Okay, so this should be okay, I think. Let's actually give this a bit of a test. So let's launch landing gear. Let's have some landing gear. Let's have a skid at the very least. Steerable landing gear and fixed landing gear. Small landing gear. Let's see how much weight does this add. It adds quite a bit of weight, actually. Oh my goodness, those are very large. Okay, so let's add some landing gear here. That is way too big. We'll do a skid landing, I think. Oh no, we'll try this. We'll try this. So we'll add. There we go. We'll add some landing gear, and we'll do a tricycle arrangement. And this one needs to be single. And we will add it right here. I'm not sure this is how I want to run a space plane, but let's launch. Let's give it a test. American diners always. It's like a basic staple. Don't even have that? Probably not going to be good. Ah, I see. One grilled cheese sandwich place all the time, but it's gone for good. I'm sorry to hear that, Ringo. Alright, so here is our elevator control. So why don't we ignite our engine and see if we can take off. Oh, this thing has very low thrust. Oh. No. That's no good. There we go. Alright. I guess we'll have to take off like this. Oh, this does not bode well for a Duna landing. Alright, come on. Come on. Let's see, we are at 27 meters per second. Running a delta wing is not a good idea. Especially not for takeoff. Oh. Nope. Alright, let's revert that flight. Revert to launch. There we go. You should put more trust in your creation. Zing! Trust. I see. A mispronunciation of thrust. So we clearly need a different engine, because this does not nearly have enough thrust for operating here. That an option for filling those sandwiches, and the bacon fat for grilling it made a flavor explosion. Oh yes, bacon fat, lard, and especially bacon fat with all of the flavor in it is definitely very good for that sort of thing. Okay, so let's see if these wings are worth anything, but delta wing arrangements are generally a bit of a problem. The instability on this craft is very significant, and we do not have enough lift at all. Let's take a look at our aerodynamic overlay. Okay. Even though we are heading at a third of the speed of sound. Nope, we're going to have to redo that. It's a very heavy craft. So purely elevators only on delta wings keeps being a problem. Front edge elevator to compensate. Like a, oh my goodness, a winglet? I mean, the Delta Dart is an example of a craft with a pure Delta configuration. Okay, we're gonna have to go back to the spaceplane hangar and rebuild that, because our spaceplane lander is not going to work if it cannot take off. We may simply need bigger wings and a better engine. Alright, so why don't we take a look here and go back to aerodynamic. Go back to aero parts, wings, specifically. Okay, so these wings are no good. Let's do a different kind of delta wing. These are significantly bigger. So let's take a look at our aerodynamic forces again. And our center of lift is not in the right place. It will make us tilt all the time. There we go. So hopefully this delta arrangement will work. You mean leading edge slats? Leading edge slats would be an option. Let's take a look at our control surfaces again. Sort by mass descending. Let's see, radiator tail fin and elevon 1. We'll use the wider elevon actually this time around. And let's rotate that. Okay. It's always a little bit funny to get the rotation for these. I apologize, wingmates. Hey, come on, come on. Please rotate correctly. And there we go. Finally, we got that rotation. And I will put it on the outside so that we have more roll. All right. Let's launch this. Some delta wings have rear edges with an elevator section and a flap section. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. We are getting spaced indeed. My goodness. Okay, let's try this again. Full throttle. Ignite the stage. And let's see if we can at the very least take off. Oh, this tricycle landing carriage is not very stable. Alright, let's see here. Jebediah is enjoying his flight so far. And I think I will have to make this into a capsule so that we can, of course, dock properly. Although I'm not even sure how this will be launched, to be quite honest. Folding? Is there an option to put 2 sets of flaps elevators on something like a delta wing? Yes, there is, I believe. I believe there is. To put landing gear inside the wings. I put fixed for our test flights. Elevons and ailerators. Yes, yes, Anti-Clay. Welcome to the convoy, by the way. But I believe there is an option for that. It's just I, in my infinite wisdom, have not utilized it. What is with my lifting forces? So we have some lift. We have some lift. Okay. Revert to spaceplane fanker. If all else fails, you need to put a set of canards in the front of the delta wing section. Okay, so let's not go pure delta. Let's add control surfaces that are proper. So let's see, aerodynamics. Oh no, let's go back here. Aero parts, control surfaces, air intake, nose cones, fairings, cargo bay. Okay, we're going to use these winglets. Yes, Delta Deluxe winglet. There we go, and we'll do symmetry. We'll see how that works. On the P-861 Black Widow, they used a feature on wings called a spoileron. Yes, there are always a lot of very interesting... Are those stabilizer wing? These are wings. This is an actual Delta wing. So it should actually do what it needs to. I hope. Let's see here. So our mass is 8 tons. And we are actually going quite fast, so I'm not quite sure what the issue is here. You know what? When in doubt, use solid fuel boosters. Oh, let me try that again. But yes, no, those are actual wings, so it should be operating correctly. We have very weak thrust is one of our big issues, I think. Although we are accelerating to the correct velocities. We forgot the ailerons. Oh yes, we'll live without the ailerons. We'll use rudders. As long as I can take off, that's what matters to me right now. Oh, okay, that has to be reverted because we ripped off the wings. All right, revert to launch. There we go. I was steering it, unfortunately. But yes, we should have ailerons. I'm just trying to get this thing off the ground. All right, we'll use SAS, actually. And SAS should help us a lot. Alright, come on, come on. You have a whole runway. Of course, you can take off. Let's see, mechanical jeb. Aircraft autopilot. Let's see, aircraft approach auto land. We'll be okay without that. Alright, we are at almost 50 meters per second. Let's see what our... Are we getting any nose lift? Or do we simply not... Or is this simply too dense of a craft? Oh, we have some serious instability. Come on, you can do this. I'm glad you're liking the look of it. Tail surfaces don't seem to be working out. Maybe canards might be more stable. We'll try canards next, I think. That's what we'll do. Alright, come on. You can do it. You can do it. Oh no, we can't even ski ramp. Oh, there we go. The elevators are too small. Yes, they are not controlling this craft at all. So we definitely require a massive elevator surface. Also, we simply have very poor thrust. We need a better engine, at least on the surface. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, this is bad. Oh, this is bad. Yeah, the elevators are way too weak for this particular craft. Oh no. At least it's sort of flying. But this rocket is very weak. It is absolutely non-functional for what we're doing here. Needs a flying tail where the entire horizontal stabilizers move. Yes, we could use a V configuration, actually. And that would save us weight. But because this surface is actually very good. So we'll do that next, actually. We'll do a V tail instead of a T tail or anything like that. And we'll also put a better engine on this. So it's a good thing that we're testing out subcomponents rather than testing this out when we're actually landing on Duna. So let's revert to our spaceplane hangar. It's airborne, but it's barely airborne. Alright, so we're going to throw that away, and we're going to make this symmetrical. There we go. Okay, there we go. So we'll make a V-tail. And that should be quite a bit of control surface, actually. It's possible to construct an airfoil belly for the rocket body. An airfoil belly. What do you mean by that? I'm not quite certain. Although I may simply be missing something there. Let's make sure our lift is at COG for stability's sake. A lifting body? Yes. Yeah. Let me throw this engine away and let me go back to liquid-fueled rockets. Let's see here. Rutherford vacuum optimized. Now let's go back. Let's go here. Engines, rockets. Let's go by mass. Okay. Alright, so the Terrier was definitely not good enough. This Terrier might be better. So thrust, mass half a ton, mass half a ton. Oh, it's a different variant though. 60 kilonewton thrust, not acceptable. Aerospike. Let's see. What's its ISP? Oh, the Aerospike is actually pretty good. It's a 1-ton engine with a pretty good ISP at all altitudes, and it has a decent thrust. Let's try the Aerospike engine, wingmates. There we go. That should actually be a lot better. Ah, Kerbal, welcome to the convoy. Great to see you here. Oh, I see. Great minds think alike, Gorian. You also were thinking of the Aerospike. It is a top secret, soon-to-be manned craft. Actually, let me rip off... how do I rip off the cockpit and put it... So this needs to go away, and we're actually going to use a much different cockpit. Because I need inline cockpit, because this will... Atmospheric travel does not matter here. What I need is a docking port, more than I need anything else. So let me throw that back on there. Let's do single symmetry for aircraft. And there we go. Put our landing gear on the very front. And I think for landing gear stability, I may actually put the landing gear on the wings, if you don't mind, wingmates. There we go. Oh, that did not have the correct symmetry. There we go. Landing gear on the wings. Okay. Example of a lifting body. That's why I'm an airframe and a power plant mechanic, not an engineer. Gives me a headache. Yes, right now it does look a bit like a MiG-15. Oh, I do love lifting bodies. They are one of my favorite designs in terms of, I suppose, volumetric efficiency. Let's see here. Okay. So, now that I've done that, I will actually put a docking port, a clamping thing here. And I think this is how I'm going to couple the landing craft to the rocket. This is a little bit strange, but I hope it works. So, let's see if I can do this. Structural, payload, coupling. There we go. And watch this. Where is it? Where is it? Let's get rid of this Delta V here. Delta V is decent enough. Oh, there we go. Open shield. There we go. So that way our spaceplane will be able to dock the aerospace probe. I follow manuals, no thinking. There is a certain joy to following manuals. Indeed. When repairing something, I think that there is a zen to it, but at the same time, there's also a zen to doing something on your own. Should have replaced the shuttle, but with pork belly or wankers that would not let it happen. There likely is a multitude of reasons for the shuttle issue. I want to build and pilot mechas. Oh, whoops, we are tail dragging. That is a problem. But we'll live with it. We'll live with it for now. Let's see if this won't explode. All right. Oh! Well, that shredded our posterior off. Let's revert that flight. Whoops. Design mechs like Mech Mechanics Simulator. I would do it in the Mega Mech editor, though, for BattleTech. I see, there's a whole... Oh, that is the original post with aerospikes. Alright, let's see here. Okay. Clearly that does not work. That does not work. Let's put the wheels back where they were. And let's make them a little bit... There we go. Let's make them a bit wider, though. There we go. Okay, that should be acceptable, I think. Hard to find a good mech sim. It is. Spooky, welcome to the convoy. You go to orbit with that posterior? We could do a reverse tricycle configuration, but... Oh, goodness, are we dragging again? Okay, no, we're just not dragging, but we know that for landing gear, we will actually have to. Let's engage SAS, throttle up to 100, and hope that we let our natural lifting take us up. Oh, perfect! And we are out of control. Alright, SAS. Oh, no, no, no. Why is it out of control? Why are my control surfaces not operating? Whoops. Hello, disembodied voices. Welcome to the convoy. And Birdmoz, I don't know if I said hello to you, but welcome. Oh my goodness. Oh no. There are no elevators at all. I was trying to do a V-style tailplane. So let's see, what happened here? Pitch, roll, active, yes. So they should be operating, is the main thing. Because it is a V arrangement that I'm trying to run with. Okay, we're gonna put the landing gear where we need to. Going to make the landing gear a lot taller now. There we go. Back where we were. Canards will help. Alright, let's try something different then. Let's try something different. Where is our center of mass and our center of lift? Okay, let's plop that there. And we'll just do canards. Why not? We'll do lifting body canards here. And we will do a vertical tail plane. So let me go back to my aerodynamic parts, my control surfaces. And I'll use a singular winglet on the tail for horizontal control. Alright, there we go. Come on. Alright, let's see if this flies. Okay. Front swept wings. I'm trying to do the delta for landing. Why humanity has flooded the supply while demand is plummeting? Supply in terms of which particular thing? I'm having a bit of a moment recognizing. Oh, there we go. Okay, that is a lot more stable. Good work with the canards, wingmates. All right, that is actually fairly stable. We are burning through fuel like nobody's business, so let's throttle down to about half and see what we can do in terms of a decent ascent. Okay, we are maintaining velocity while climbing. Let's stabilize ourselves. We are in the transonic regime. As you can see, we have these lovely heat spinks. Oh, test pilots are cheaper than JK. Yes, we will be using Jebediah for our test piloting here. There is some awful stability on this craft. We're gonna use SAS. This thing has issues in the transonic regime, that is for sure. Oh my goodness, this is barely controllable. Ah, Power Nelson, welcome to the convoy. Good to see you here. Point defense systems activate. All weapons come online. All right. This aerodynamic, this is actually decent for a space plane. Hopefully, let's see how high we can get. So we're at 4 kilometers. Let's see here. What's our delta V like? Our delta V is still good. All right. And hopefully we can drop our thrust a little more and save on fuel and continue a fairly aggressive climb. But we are dropping our velocity, so why don't we level out and speed up? There we go, and continue climbing. Yes, the transonic flight regime is very annoying. Okay, there we go. Yes, we are running Aerospike. Power Nelson, how are you doing? How was your stream? I apologize. I'm having a little bit of a moment here as I am trying to get this aircraft up and operational, and I'm testing out to see if I can take off of the surface of the equivalent of Kerbal Mars with this particular design, as I do not wish to how shall I put it, make a mistake and then pay for it later. But this is my attempt at a single stage to orbit craft, but it may not be enough. Although I think I will put ascent boosters on it. Scramjet engines would only work in where we have oxygen to burn. Duna does not have enough oxygen for that to work. Alright, let's see our orientation on the map. So, what is our altitude? We are slowing down, so we need to up our thrust. Okay. So I think the spaceplane concept would be not the worst, especially considering we need less Delta V to exit Duna. The main thing is we want to land. Landing is what will expend a lot of power for us. And we would like to use drogue chutes also to slow us down in our landing. They don't have all the physics, so you can just slap a few thousand on there. Ah, Allbones Jones, welcome to the convoy. Oh, and there we go, Power Nelson. I apologize, I did not see your message. Let's see here. I understand, friend. Rocketry is a very finicky thing in the future year of 1892. Well, it is the year 4084 for me, Power Nelson. But I very much understand your sort of thinking there. Let's cut the engine and see where we are. Oh, we actually have a fairly solid ballistic path here. Let's see what we can do at our apoapsis. That is pretty low, and then we'll add a maneuver to burn pretty much vertically, I think. But it's not that we'll add a maneuver. We'll just burn vertically, because we are exiting at the most influence of Atmo basic at this point. So let's see how high we can go. That's not bad. That's not bad actually. I think this should be an adequate design for Duna, because that is a pretty good orbital hop. All right, Jebediah, you are doomed. All right, perfect. So that actually works. That actually works. Now the question is, will it land on Duna? Hello, rocket scientist. Welcome to the convoy. And Owlite, welcome to the convoy. Litho braking. This will engage in litho braking. Unfortunately, it does not have any fuel remaining, but it is a glider. That is the one advantage that it does have. Longest Cobra maneuver on record. Yeah, we are not doing a very good Cobra maneuver here. Whoosh. And a Cobra maneuver, if I recall correctly, is where you pull up with your nose, you do a slowdown, and essentially you flare your wings like a cobra. So it looks something like this. Whoosh! And you're flaring, and that makes you slow down like an aero brake. And then you can let another fighter craft get behind you. This is indeed a death glider right now. 3307. Well, that would be before the implosion war, so it would be a good year to be alive in Izmi Davsta. Okay, let's see here. A farmed us. I don't think I said hello to you. Welcome to the convoy. Oh, oh my goodness. I apologize. 1 second, please. Power Nelson, what were you doing beforehand? What were you enjoying your stream? I certainly hope you were. Okay, so now that we've done this, let's actually revert the flight to launch and do one interesting test. Super wide. Sukhoi does a sweet cobra indeed. Okay, so let's actually... what's this right here? Oh, we're not gonna go on an asteroid. Let's go to Duna. And let's go on the orbit of Duna. Actually, let's start at 0 on Duna. Setting it... Okay, there we go. Perfect. Oh, did we seriously end up on the wrong side of the sun? We're gonna warp till sunrise. No, not UT. Get this Delta V bar out of my way. Alright, so we're going to speed up time so we could get to the sun. Alright, so... let's see if we can re-enter with this craft, wingmates. So we're going to burn retrograde. Let's see here. Can we do this? Can we do this? So this is the minimum safe for an orbit. Let's see if we can do an aero capture. Alright. We are... there we go. Perfect. That's all we needed to do our retro burn. So now let's face prograde. And level ourselves up. Okay. Yes, we finished up with some ukulele. Oh, let's see. Let's see. Ukulele playing. So we plan to indulge some of those video games. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I very much enjoy anyone who does any sort of musical thing, as I'm not quite skilled in that. And so I have great respect for musical talent. And I believe I have heard, I have listened to some of your songs, your VODs, and I did enjoy them, so I hope that you continue to do so, Power Nelson. But it's good to have you with the convoy right now. You put decals on the ships. I think you could a little bit. All right, let's accelerate time and see if we can actually enter Duna's atmosphere without totally perishing. What kind of re-entry we will have. So let's see. So we are approaching the dark side of Duna, which will make landing very harrowing, unfortunately. I do not want to land in the dark, but it's what we're going to do. Alright, let's see here. Oh, it seems that we're hitting Atmo now. We are just in the upper layers of Atmo. As you can see, now that I use my RCS system to turn myself, atmospheric drag is actually stabilizing me. Oh, I'm glad you enjoy the mecha segments. The art, or the design, or the gameplay. I would actually like to do some Mech Warrior, but it's a bit of a problem getting that to run on the current state-of-the-art machinery in 21st Terra. Yes, let's take a look at our heating, actually. Heat. There we go. So convective flux is rising. Skin temperature is approaching... oh, it's in Kelvin, so I can never tell what the actual temperature of the skin is. So streamlined, shielded, is starting to heat up. So our nose is the hottest part. So we're going to flare in an attempt to do a bit of braking. It's always been glitchy. Yeah, it's a little bit. I was actually going... Bojangles, welcome to the convoy. I was actually going to ask about chances of Mech Warrior 3 or 4 stream. So I really like 3 and 4. So I would like to get those running, and I think I should actually begin that process. Those are some of my favorite MechWarrior games. I know what you mean. Those 21st century computers can't compare to our computational power of our nano vacuum tube computational machines. Ah, I see. That is the sort of technology you're used to. Very fascinating. Nano vacuum tubes are quite the endeavor. We are unfortunately not as advanced as you are, so we are not able to utilize that. So we are at, let's take a look to ground level. We are at 30 kilometers above Duna. We are currently heating up to 477 at the hottest part of the skin. Why don't we stabilize ourselves a little bit here? How detailed is 4? 4 is less detailed than 3. And it uses a slot system, but it is still fairly customizable. Many slots are Omni slots, and some slots are something like ballistic or direct or missile only or ammunition only. It's definitely more freedom than MechWarrior Online, that is for sure. That is for sure. Okay. Alright, so we are basically practicing for our re-entry using our orbital spaceplane. And we will also attempt to take off. So I apologize, wingmates. This stream has been going on for quite a bit of time, but I do not think I will actually be able to do this maneuver because I have so many separate elements that we need to get done. So our nose is pretty hot, but we're doing okay for the time being. Let's flare up, actually. Let's flare up and do a bit of braking so that our nose is not the hottest part. There we go. Oh. Okay, cool. We have punched through the worst part of Atmo. So now we are going to turn off stability assist, and we're going to glide onto Duna. And maybe... Oh, there is not a lot of atmosphere. I definitely need stability assist. About at 5 kilometers is where there's enough Atmo to fly. Alright, come on, stability assist. Give me what I need. What's this maneuver called? It's called Spacer is Freaking Out. Spaceman, how do you find Kerbal Space Program? I've been wanting to play it again. It's on Steam, Spooky. And now there is a mod manager, but I've found the mod manager is very difficult to use properly because it installs things in the wrong way, oftentimes. So we are clearly having issues with Atmo here. I think once we reach 5 kilometers, we'll be a lot better. So let's actually dive. If we can. Let's slow ourselves down a little bit and get some of that sweet, sweet atmosphere. We may need bigger wings for this to work. Spacer is Freaking Out EXE, saved for later use. Alright, so now we need to engage our thrusters. There we go. Now we're going to attempt a glide landing, wingmates. And I forgot to put drogue chutes on here. That is a big problem. We definitely need drogue chutes, but we have confirmed that this craft is actually... Oh, no. Whoops. We definitely need drogue chutes, wingmates. We definitely need drogue chutes to slow us down. In fact, maybe we could use parachutes instead. Oh my goodness. Miwa, I'm glad you missed that crash that we had. But overall, this is an interesting design. I just think we need more wings because clearly that we need more lift. So, why don't we go back to wings and actually add a proper aeroplane wing. I don't care about the... Oh my goodness, that is very big. Let's see here. Let's go with mass. Structural wing type C, far too small. Wing connector, found in a trash bin. Wing connector type D. Swept wing type A. No, too small. Delta wing. Swept wing type B. Oh my goodness. I'm glad that I'm inspiring some folks to play Kerbal Space Program. Power Nelson, you're heading out. Thank you for being with the convoy for as long as you could. I hope that you rest quite well. Let's see. Basic swept wing. Let's see how the basics... Nope, too small. We need quite a long wing. So what we're going to do is we're going to play Build-A-Wing, wingmates. Did you see what I said there? Build-A-Wing? Well, wingmates... We'll do a Burt Rutan design here. We'll do one of his special gliders. So let me turn on all of these centers. Make sure our dynamic center is actually located in the correct place. That is very important. And we're going to build a plane here. And we'll build up that wing. There we go. And is there an end connector? Oh, we could use the big delta wing, but that's a little bit thick also. That's too big. There's no terminator, unfortunately. Where is the terminator for this? I could use a small delta wing. There we go. And this whole structure needs to be adjusted this way. And yeah. There we go. Now our lifting center is pretty much as I want it to be. I see you've played Free Space on this channel. What do you think about Freelancer? I have had very limited opportunity to play Freelancer, but I really would like to give it a serious go, Boojangles. It's definitely in my list of top priority games, although it is after Independence War, I think. It is most definitely after Independence War, because I've been hankering to play it. I thought we tweaked the scale. Oh, Teacup! You're so right. Welcome to the convoy. We could, of course, tweak the scale. I am a buffoon. A fraud, wingmates. I am a fraud. Please do not listen to me, ever. Ever. I am simply... Oh, I am aghast at what I have done. Alright, let's tweak the scale here. Oh, 200% ought to do it. No. 220... 205. 200% seems to be the lowest it can go. There we go. That's a nice gliding wing. Very thick body, too. Very thick cord. I don't know if we would want to... Definitely would not take your word on sugarless chocolate consumption. Anticlay, well, thank you for being with us. I hope that you get a good frappe. Yes, the mods are very useful indeed. Mechanical jeb and, of course, the scale tweaking. There we go. It's very thick indeed. Oh, there's a SpaceX launch going on right now. But I probably won't be streaming for too much longer, but rocket scientists, please, feel free to watch that. I do not mind. I know that everyone has different priorities, and I respect that completely. So I think, before I forget, allow me to put on some parachutes, actually. Let me put on a pair of drogue chutes that we will utilize to hopefully slow ourselves down. And let's see if we can change the size of this chute. Let's see here. Altitude, spread angle. No, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. We can't change the chute size. The chute size is baked in. And I think we will actually put some solid fuel No, we don't need solid fuel boosters. Actually, we could put some solid fuel boosters for a landing. I hope so. My odds have only been 50-50 hopes, though. Night, everyone, or morning? Well, good luck, Auntie Clay. Thank you for being with us. Okay, so why don't we actually launch, and hopefully this won't explode on us. But I guess at this point we might as well also consider what we want to do with landing gear. Also, I do not know how I will be launching this. I think I may have to do a belly launch. Or I'll have to attach this radially to the rocket. So let's see. We need landing gear that can actually retract, I think. Let's see here. So it retracts this way. That is fine. That is a landing strut. No. Rover wheels. Okay, so what we will do is we will have these two dinky little landing wheels. Actually, no, what we'll do is we'll scale it up. We'll scale it up and we'll rotate the parts correctly. If I can do that. Okay, that is a lot better. Alright, so we will do landing struts. Uh-oh. There we go. And we will scale them up. Because this is way too small for this plane. So let's do tweak. And scale tweak. 200 is way too big. And let me punch in text if I can here. Okay, that is a decent size. About 130% of the stock size I think is decent. And then I will put a small landing gear on the front. Or our nose wheel. And there we go. And has this been tweaked? Let's see here. Scale is at 100, so that's fine actually. There we go. That is a decent looking plane now. Make a catapult just for fun. What kind of catapult? I suppose a... I'm not too familiar with some of those particular mechanics. Also, I do think I will add some ailerons to this for further stability. I've been having some issues with that, so let me go with control surfaces. I'm going to go with Elevon. The Elevon's right here. Advanced Canard, Elevon 3, Elevon 5. Maybe, no, yeah, Elevon 5 is fine with me. There we go. Of course, the fun of rotation. Come on, come on. There we go. That's how we want it. And we'll put some elevators right here. If they will behave, of course, which I don't think they will. Okay, there we go. That's actually decent. Oh, a plane catapult. Also, the landing gears aren't the same height. Are you sure about that? Not all aircraft have landing gear of the same height, so this is not the worst thing in the world. Let's take a look at what it looks like on the runway, actually. So let's launch that, and let's see what is with our staging. Did we mess up our staging? I think we may have. Come on, come on. We're going to have a tail strike, and most likely, Teacup. We will most likely have a tail strike. Yes, and we did have a tail strike. Because our COG is completely off there. But soon we won't have a tail strike because we can stabilize it out. And let's see, toggle gear. Alright. So that is actually pretty decent. The stability has improved significantly. There we go. We do have more drag, that is for certain. Let's see how well we can climb with how little fuel. And I do not want to land this plane, to be honest. Maybe a vertical landing is a better idea, wingmates. Maybe a vertical landing is a better idea. But that is what quick save is for. That is definitely what quick save is for. Okay, we are going higher and we are getting less and less draggy. Let's drop our throttle a little more and keep climbing. Alright, there we go. That is pretty solid, actually. We are doing pretty well, all things considered. So the aerodynamics of this particular plane are significantly more acceptable. It's a little bit sensitive on the elevator, but the ailerons are definitely helping with control and with stability. But a two-stage staggered delta work to reduce drag. I'm not sure how the aerodynamic model is. The fact that these are already so thick, I think, is already a big problem. Right, so now that we are... Okay, let's keep climbing. Let's keep climbing. Let's see how high we can get with this particular aircraft. So we are already at 5 kilometers, even on Kerbin. We are at half fuel, which is good. What is the nose cone? The nose cone is from the interstellar pack that we're using, and it is a shielded docking port. So we will be using it to latch on to the mothership. Okay. We are at 7 kilometers. Our drag is reducing. We are definitely leaving the densest part of the atmosphere. And we are getting lighter with each operation. Something like the J-35 Draken, but with more wing rather than extended leading edge plus lifting body configuration. I think that might be interesting, although I do not know if that we will actually gain much benefit from it. That is my primary concern. Let's see here. That is really my only concern, is I just don't know how much use we'll actually get out of that. Okay, we're at 10 kilometers, so we are starting to lose our lift. So why don't we actually make sure that we begin burning a little harder. There we go. And let's go for a near vertical approach and see how far we can get. What our apoapsis will be in this situation. Okay, we are almost out of ammo. Keeping flight stability. And our aerospike. We should have had drop tanks. Drop tanks might actually be a pretty good thing to have here. Oh wow, we are actually going so hard. We are hitting plasma. Alright, let's take a look at our apoapsis. Apoapsis is okay. This is actually a very decent setup that we have. If we had more fuel, if we had proper drop tanks, I think we would actually be able to reach orbit with this space plane. So if this is a Kerbal capable space plane, this is most definitely a Duna capable space plane. So what we will do is we will actually test the drogue chute and see what it does. So right now we are having difficulties with control because we have no RCS. Let's see how re-entry is for this. So why don't we warp to here or so. And then we will see how badly this burns out. Back by unpopular demand, it's gore. What is pronounced in which way, Spooky? I believe I may have mispronounced things myself. It happens that way. Come on, come on. Please, warp faster. The drag on the wing is certainly forcing us to use drop tanks. Yes, since we can't use Delta because we simply need more lift for Duna, we're definitely going to need drop tanks if operating on Kerbin. Oh, you've been mispronouncing apoapsis for a while. Well, that's okay. It's not exactly a trivial term. Alright, let's adjust our angle of attack for our initial burn here. Or our initial re-entry. Okay, we are hitting Atmo once again. We are accelerating very aggressively. Let's turn off... Oh my goodness. I should not have turned off stability assist. Uh-oh. Okay, let's stabilize that. Oh wow, did we just hypersonically push through Atmo? Let's turn off stability assist and let the plane naturally corkscrew into stability. And I say naturally corkscrew into stability with trepidation. Alright. How do we stabilize this? Ailerons this way? Okay, there we go. Ailerons. Alright, now we have lift. Now we're getting proper lift. There we go. We are gaining control of our craft. Although we still do not have much lift. TK, thank you for being with us. I hope that you have a good rest. Let's see. Apoapsis. Oh, I think some people may pronounce it apoapsis, but I pronounce it apoapsis. You're more than welcome to say it how you please. Although there probably is a normal pronunciation for it. Alright, there we go. So this is actually decent. We definitely are still having some issues with speed-related stability. I don't know if it's our horizontal stabilizer or what, but it's definitely causing us some grief. Maybe we need more horizontal stabilizers. We may need more horizontal stabilizers, actually. We can put 2 of them on the plane. On the wing body itself. Okay, now that we're at 6 kilometers, we're definitely much more stable. And we're able to glide quite well. Let's see how much we can do a turnaround. Whoop, that was not a good maneuver. There we go. And bank turn. There we go. Let's turn on stability assist. No sense in not using it here. Okay, there we go. That is nice. I like that. Looked up an audio pronunciation guide on the JumpNet. Your pronunciation is correct. Oh, good, good, good. I'm glad to hear that. All right, and we can level out a little bit. Okay, so the glide ratio on this craft is actually decent. All right. So, what we can do is we can revert the flight to the hangar. Oh yes, oh, I'm glad you learned something. I'm glad you learned something indeed, Spooky. All right, so what we have learned is we may need more vertical stabilizers. Let's see if they work though. That is the biggest question, of course. Will they work? Come on, come on. I may have to use subtle adjustment here. There we go. We're going to try this. Maybe that will work, maybe it won't. Not quite sure, to be honest. We'll see, we'll see. Okay. Let's see where our aerodynamic bodies are balanced at now, though. So our center of gravity is slightly north of our center of... There we go. So why don't we move this to where it needs to be, which is dead center, essentially, for maximum stability. There we go. I knew how to pronounce apoapsis from watching Scott Manley, Kerbal Space Program videos. Ah, I see. Yes, I think many have watched Scott Manley's videos, which are quite informative. Okay, so this seems to work pretty well. Let's see if we can do boosters and drop tanks. So let's go to engines, and we'll go to solid rocket boosters. And there's the might booster. And I think a pair of these mites might actually be the ticket. And we will put them under the center of gravity so they don't affect too much. So for this, we will first need couplers, since we don't want to detach them completely. But yes, I think a pair of these solids might actually be a good thing to have for our travels. So let me go back to our couplers. So filter by function, go to coupling. What is the lightest possible radial decoupler? That is a little bit heavy. Orbital assembly docking point. Blow-off bolts would be the nicest in my opinion. But unfortunately I don't have blow-off bolts. I have to use decouplers. Well, let's see what we can do here. There we go. Throw on a pair of decouplers. And we're gonna throw on a pair of those Mighty Might engines. Let's see here. Back to solids. Oh my goodness. I'm still not used to this new layout. Okay, there we go. Actually, considering we're doing this, we might as well go with one longer solid booster. Not that big. Hammer solid fuel booster. Hammer is way too big. Sidekick is too long. Thoroughbred is absurd. My goodness, that is monstrous. And I think we'll have to go with the might. There we go. There is the might. So now we have solid boosters without any aerodynamic cones on them. Aero parts, landing parts, structural parts. Okay, so we will also want drop tanks, and I think in the mod there was a very literal drop tank available. So let's take a look here. LFO size 3, radial tank, monopropellant tank, LFO size 3, all parts and fuel tanks. It was some kind of very strange tank. Xenon container. Interesting. I do wonder where it is. Liquid fuel tank. It must have been in the MISC section, or it might have been structural actually. Oh wait, no, what was that? Cylindrical drop tank. There we go. What kind of fuel can this have? Oh, no, no, no. This is a completely different drop tank. It's for a very different kind of engine. Okay, so how can we mount proper conformal drop tanks onto this? Oh, interesting. We have an inflatable airbag. Oh, inflatable gas tank. So that is very useful for orbital stuff. Very nice, very nice. I didn't know that we had liquid fuel tank, or a bagged fuel. Just like milk in Canada, we have bagged fuel. All right, there we go. Oh, arrow wrapper cap. Very interesting. Okay, so. Can we do drop tanks is the question. We may have to do a top-mounted drop tank at this point. Oh, no, no. Here's what we do. We mount the Mighty Mites on top because they're not that dangerous when they come off. And then we put... Wait a minute. Drop tank won't fit there. So Mighty Mites have to go on the bottom and a drop tank has to go on top. That's a little bit of an odd configuration, but it's the best we're going to have to do. Or best we can do. There we go. Now I need to find arrow caps for that. Aerodynamic. Need a very, very small nose cap. That's too big. Although we can, of course. Small nose cone. Perfect. These are perfect for our purposes. If we can rotate them correctly. Come on. Ah, yes, it's one of those odd fits. You have to do some very strange things to get this to work. Ah, why? Why? Come on. Come on, you got this. Got this. Oh, no. There we go. They will behave one day. They will behave one day. Come on, come on, come on. Very recalcitrant wingmates. I don't know if you've had issues with game designers like this, but it's always these oddball tanks that I have issues with. Actually, it doesn't matter. They're for takeoff. I'm going to throw that in the trash. And I'm going to put another radial decoupler on this. And we will use that for a fuel tank. So, no symmetry. There we go. Ah, E-Ghost is raiding. My goodness. My goodness. Welcome, raiders. Welcome to the convoy. It is good to see you here. How are you doing? I am currently attempting to design a spaceplane for our landing on Duna right now. And it's a bit of a strange activity, I must say. All right, let's add a fuel tank. What kind of fuels can the Aerospike take? Liquid fuel, so there's no issue there. Okay, let me add a fuel tank here. Probably not too big of a fuel tank. There we go. We'll add that fuel tank, and then we'll add another little packet to it. Except, of course, this will not behave. This will never behave. We need to go to the rocket depot in order to make that happen. I guess we'll go with one fuel tank for the time being, for testing purposes. And there we go. Now, let's see. E-Ghost, how are you doing today? Did you have a good stream for yourself? I certainly hope that you did. Let's see here. I do apologize. I'm trying to get this figured out here. There we go. That is most definitely a very strange layout that I have. Okay. Let's see the fuel flow. How was your stream? Did you Oh, what's going on here? Oh, I need to connect a fuel pipe, it seems. Let's see, fuel tanks and a fuel port. There we go. Now we have two tanks of fuel. And I need to make sure that this is prioritized. Fuel priority. Okay. Where is my fuel priority, please? Fuel delivery overlay and fuel priority will go up. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. It was. I was up until the end. The game decided to soft lock on me, so I'm going to have to fix that. Ooh, yes, I had that issue with Homeworld 1, and it's most definitely quite irritating that that is the issue. What if we use a turbofan with an afterburner to get to high altitude? A teacup. You see, Duna does not have a combustible atmosphere, so unfortunately we will not be able to use any non-liquid fueled engines. That is the primary issue there. Otherwise, I would have done that, most definitely. I think Elu has a... No, is it Elu that has a burnable atmosphere? Alright, let's see here. Okay, so... the boosters are for takeoff. And so is the fuel tank. So actually, I think the boosters will burn first. So boosters... So primary motor needs to be in stage 1. Stage 2 is the boosters. And one set of clamps is for the boosters is in its own stage, followed by the second set of clamps. Oop. Second set of clamps up top, and then the drogue chutes. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to launch this, and we're going to test it out. And see how well it works. Oh, Lathe. Thank you, Allbones Jones. It is Lathe. Moon is just perfect to go to. There's no issue with only going to Moon. I'm simply giving myself trouble here. Oh, those are dragging. Oh my goodness. Alright, let's see if we can take off without them exploding on us. Uh-oh. Alright, there we go. Nope. Nope. Well, that didn't go according to plan. Let's revert the flight. Revert to launch. Yes, we are doing a spaceplane right now. This is going to be our lander for Duna, because Duna has an atmosphere. And I feel persnickety, and I want to give it a try. Alright, let's see. Full throttle. Let's see how well these boosters work. Oh, no. We went out of control there. Okay, let's revert that flight. Oh my goodness. Adding some wings to that fuel canister? I am. This really is a fuel canister. Alright, we're gonna have to use SAS to make sure we don't crash. Okay, let's... Uh-oh. Yeah, the drag we have on the ground is a bit of a problem. Also, the fact that the boosters are not in line, that is also a problem. So we're going to revert the flight to the spaceplane hangar and move the solid fuel boosters around to a different location. Because right now they're causing us some problems. Okay, or we might not even use the solid fuel boosters, to be honest. Let's see if we can get them in line. Because we want the axis of thrust to be roughly symmetrical. There we go. There we go. That should be a lot better. But where do we need our wings? Because our COG has shifted a little bit. Let's see, center of gravity and aerodynamic center. There we go. That should roughly work. Oh, nope, too high. Come on, behave. There we go. That should be roughly okay. And now we have solids to help us kick off. Edges of the wings would look nice, but maybe not. Edges of the wings might be hard to control, I think. Monkey on the back is killing it. I think it is screwing up our balance quite a bit. Well, you did take off before they exploded, technically. Mission success. I like your attitude, Allbones Jones. I think that that is the healthiest way to look at our failures here. You never know when you don't try. Exactly, and that's why we're doing this and not doing this now. Oh, that is too tail heavy. But that, I don't care about. Okay, come on. Oh. Okay, I guess I do care about it being tail heavy. I really do. Oh my goodness. Alright, we're gonna have to adjust the position of the landing gear. Let's see here. Revert flight. Beluga space glider. Yes, we are piggybacking some more drop tank fuel for our very own purposes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse the landing gear. and have it just kind of dangling over here. That should be a little bit better. There we go. Actually, we'll do this, and then we will do a gentle rotation. Oh. Uh-oh. Wrong button. Uh-oh. Sorry, wingmates. I have misadjusted this a little bit. There we go. Uh-oh. Okay, how do I need this? There we go. A lot better. Hopefully that won't tip too much. Nice, nice. Okay. Let's try that again. Just remember, Space Surfer, if it blows up, it becomes an unmanned flight. No one has to know. Exactly, Spooky, exactly. Add a single drag wheel. We could add a tail wheel, indeed. An expendable tail wheel, like the Messerschmitt Me-163 Comet, one of the world's first, if not the first, rocket... Okay, it was the first rocket-powered interceptor, and probably the only one at this point, other than hybrid solutions. Although, no, I guess there were prototypes of other things made. I don't know how much the Natterbach, or however you pronounce that particular rocket-powered interceptor, how that got off the ground. But that had an undercarriage that was literally dumped on takeoff. So, if we're actually doing quite a bit of effort to keep our landing gear on us. All right. We pulled up way too fast. That was more on me, wingmates, not on the plane itself. So we're going to revert the flight to launch again. My goodness. Yes, the rocket that landed on a ski. Oh yes, the Delta wing that ran on pulverized coal with a ramjet. That is a very fascinating design, I must say. Okay, let's stabilize, full burn. Alright, we're going to take off naturally now. Just a gentle motion of the ailerons. Just a gentle motion of the ailerons. Just the gentle motion of the ailerons. Just the gentle motion of the ailerons. Okay. Revert to launch. Okay, let's try that again. Oof. We will take off. I think it's the Beluga tank. The Beluga tank is causing some massive instability. This is why you put drop tanks on the bottom, but our craft is too short. The game is trolling us indeed. Let's not use full thrust then. Let's use half thrust. And we will use SAS. At least you're getting all the style points with those cycle loops after takeoff. Yes, if this was Tony Hawk, we'd be much better. Okay, you need to larger wings or reposition the fuel tank. Bounces off. Yes, indeed it is. Yep, our balance is totally hosed. Nope. Yeah, that's not going to work. Right, back to the flight. So we go back to the spaceplane anchor. Now do you understand why I want wings on the Beluga tank? So it can fly on its own. I see. Are you able to put the tank on the bottom or make it flatter? Let me see what kind of conformal tanks I can find here. So let's see, engines, liquid fuel. I think there's a hex tank, which is a very strange one, but we may be able to use it. It may be a lot flatter. So fuel tank. Oh, okay, so this is a hex tank, and it actually might fit under the plane. What can it fit inside of it? Oh no, it's a cargo container. It's not meant for that. Oh, there we go, liquid fuel. Hex segment liquid fuel tank. Although it is going to have a lot of issues with mounting. I don't think it's meant for this. What we're going to do is we're going to rip off the Beluga. We're going to take our couplers here and twin them. Put them on the sides of the belly. And we're going to see if we can slap these hex segment tanks on there. Alright. We're going to have to rotate. Rotation doesn't work in that axis. That axis is not important. And now it does not want to mount. I don't think these hex segments will actually mount anywhere else. What about small tanks on the wings? Yes, I'm obsessed with fuel tanks on the wings. We could try that. I mean, the main issue is clearance. So these tanks don't work clearly. So let me find some small tanks. You know what, wingmates? I'm a fool. I'm a fool. I have totally forgotten that we have the scaling mod with us. And thanks to the scaling mod, any fuel tank can be made smaller. So what we're going to do is we're going to take... not the Jumbo Max, my goodness. The scaling mod is very important. We're going to take the standard fuel tank in Kerbal Space Program, if I can find it, as it always seems to elude me when I most need it. Nope, not the Rocco Max. My goodness, every time, every time. Da-da-da-da-da. Cryogenic dual tank. There it is. We're going to take this fuel tank, and we're going to slap it on here, but we're also going to scale it. There we go. Isn't that a lot better, wingmates? Isn't that a lot better? Oh. No, we want liquid fuel. There we go. We can actually make it a little bit bigger. And that's too big. There we go. And now we actually have properly sized fuel tanks. There we go. I'm of the opinion the only things that belong on wings are missiles and bombs. Ah, I see, I see. Well, but will it fly? Yes, now that is a good question. Let's put an aerodynamic cone on it before we forget. Let's see here. Payload, structural, aerodynamic pods, payload, aerodynamics. Here we go. We want the spiky one. And, of course, it will never mount. It will never mount. Come on. Advanced nose cone. Also won't mount. Alright, and we have to resize that. There we go. Perfect. So now we have our drop tanks available for us. Just hold Alt. Alt for resize? Or Alt for... let's see here. Let me try it with a part I was having issues with. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Thank you so much, Teacup. I really do appreciate that. There, that looks better, even though I don't think that makes much of a difference. But it looks nicer, which is what we're going to do. Alright. Let's see here. So our drop tanks are there, our boosters are here. Here's our booster ignition. Alright, let's try this. Let's see how badly this explodes. Alright. Also fourth class passenger seats. I'm always fond of the various projects to put Special Forces operatives inside of payloads on attached under fighter craft wings as high-speed insertion devices. It is always so interesting to look at those. Let's throttle up to about half and hit our engines. Our thrust is clearly pretty low, and of course these tanks aren't actually coupled to us, which is a huge problem. And once again, something is really off here. Well, my goodness. We're not going fast enough for the stabilizers to have any effect, I think. Okay, so we're going to revert our flight back. Oh. Revert flight. Revert flight to spaceplane hangar. Ah. Okay, what is it now? What is it now? What could it be now? Let's see here. COG. That is about right. Our wing placement is about right. More rockets, yes. Also, we did forget to actually do the fuel feed for the rockets. So we will need to make sure that we do that. There we go. And both of these tanks need a higher fuel priority so that they're utilized first. So we'll just strap them onto 15. There we go. Okay, let's launch that. Sadly, I don't have officially KSP. I'm stuck with 111. The time KSP was free for a while in Steam. Oh, that is unfortunate. So eventually the mods will lose compatibility as they add new features. At least the old mods will still be able to work, though, Teacup. And there's quite a plethora of content. Seems like the load is too far back. It might be these heavy boosters that we have, the solid boosters. Alright, let's see. Let's burn. Let's see if we can actually take off. We might be too heavy for the wings. Okay, that was better. Revert to launch. Is the fluid dynamics of the fuel tanks modeled? I don't think it is. Remember, there's oh yes, there is a multiplayer mod, but it does take a little bit to get working. Okay, so I didn't have SAS on. And this plane is pregnant with fuel. It is very, very heavy. It is, let's see, is this... Yes, we are burning from the correct tanks. And we are not burning... Oh. Alright, take off, take off, take off. Nope. I think we need bigger wings if we're going to fly with that much fuel. Oh, by the way, you can allow crossfeed fuel on decouplers. Oh, that's right, that's right. Let me take a look at that. Alright, let's go to spaceplane hangar, and I can drop some weight by removing those couplers. Let's see here. Or by removing the fuel pipes. So let's see here. Here come the radial couplers. Enable crossfeed. There we go. So crossfeed is enabled. Thank you for the tip, Teacup. That is much appreciated. But our priority is still +5, which is excellent. So I think we may need to scale up the wings a little bit. A little bit, just a touch. Just a little more lift. A little more lift, a little more stability. All right, let's give that a go. See what happens here. I messed around with KSP with Luna multiplayer once. It was quite something. I have not had any experience with KSP multiplayer, but that sounds like a good time. Although, from what I understand, there is a bit of a... It's interesting how the multiplayer is implemented. Right, crank up to full, and let's just go. Let's see if more lift helps with our issues here. Because I think before we were flying entirely on thrust. There we go. A little bit of... It's amazing what a little bit of wing will do. Okay, we are currently feeding fuel correctly. Landing gear retracted. We are throttling down. There we go. We are climbing. We can keep the throttle as is. There we go. We've done it. We've taken off. Ah, Teacup. I do not have a Discord yet, but I have a feeling that at some point soon I will set it up. For the time being, I only have a Twitter, but feel free to DM me on that if you would like. And I will be posting updates in regards to any kind of Discord thing in that location. But yes, that is something I've been considering. The main issue I have with Discord is I find them a little bit difficult to use and organize at times. So, you know, I would definitely be interested in what's the word? Making sure that everything is as I want in that regard. All right, let's see here. We are almost out of fuel, so actually we want these decouplers to be the next stage. Oh, no. There we go. All right. Oh. There we go. Oh no, sticky keys was enabled. I apologize for the silence, wingmates. I was having a little bit of a moment there. Lasted sticky keys. Why have I not disabled them? I say I will every time, and I don't. Okay, we're at 8 kilometers. We are leaving the densest part of Atmo. Okay, so this spaceplane is actually getting to be pretty good for what it is, for being a very small spaceplane. The key was bigger wings. Let's see here. We made it off the ground indeed. And the drop tanks actually worked pretty well. So that staged fueling might actually be acceptable for our purposes. Let's see here. And the fact that we're not losing power due to Atmo is actually pretty important. There we go. We are maintaining a steady climb, and and the aerodynamics are good. Do you disable sticky keys by not eating at a desk? Oh my goodness. Oh, we should level ourselves out a little bit here. Alright, there we go. How do you want to control that thing in space without RCS? The cockpit module itself actually has ended up having whatchamacallit, reaction wheels. So the reaction wheels do allow us for some control, even outside of atmosphere. Alright, so we are pretty much in the we are getting out of Atmo, and the aerodynamic influence on our rocket is dropping. So we'll definitely need to consider angling up. And now we're going to full thrust. There we go. We are basically out of the atmospheric regime. And our apoapsis will be... There we go. So this is an outright spaceplane, wingmates. We actually have some spare fuel left. If it wasn't also for losing the solid fuel boosters, I think this would actually be a very decent setup. That's how you get to the moon with jet engines, although we are using an Aerodyne. Well, I do know that although docking is questionable, yes, we will need RCS for docking. So Teacup, you are very right. We will need to have some RCS thrusters and some RCS fuel on this design, which will of course kill the Delta V. So let's see here. We can actually open the shield to show you where our docking port will be on the nose for this particular craft. But yes, for any kind of space operations, we will need RCS. Alright, there we go. We will not have enough Delta V to circularize, but this is definitely a very functional spaceplane, all things considered. Okay, so why don't we actually revert the flight to launch, and then we'll go to Duna orbit, and we'll see if we can land this thing. As long as we can land it, we're good. RCS Piggy Backpack. We will need the RCS at all times, so I do think that we should actually integrate RCS tanks into the design. So let's see, let's go to the debug console, and we're gonna go into Duna orbit. Okay. We're going to turn on SAS and go retrograde. And I think once we attempt this landing, I will wrap up the data stream, as I am getting a little bit worn out, I suppose. Oh my goodness, I can't even see anything. Should have put some lights on this, actually. So we are currently we need to face retrograde. Let's take a look. So we are approaching the sunward side, so we can safely do a deorbiting burn now. So let's see, let's do a deorbiting burn. And let's make sure that deorbiting burn takes us where we want. Oh. Wait a minute. What's happening here? Oh, I see. My thrust axis is not very good. I need RCS, I think. Oh, there we go. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. There we go. So we should be entering Atmo. There we go. On the sun side. Slowing down a little bit more. Okay. Perfect, perfect. So now we can warp till the point that we enter Atmo. We can warp to around here or so, I think. There we go. And we will maneuver prograde. 1 sec. Transfer from mobile device to onboard ship computer. Ah, wonderful, Ismidabsta. That feeling when you realize late that you're spinning. Yes, we definitely need RCS for this particular system. Okay. Come on, warp. We can go a little bit faster, please. No, we can't. Alright. Come on, come on. Let's take a look at our craft. Oh, our gear is up. Need to toggle the gear. Alright, how high are we? And we need the distance from ground. Okay. Let's see if we can time warp a little further. It's going to be a very slow time warp, unfortunately, since we are so close to the planet. Okay, let's take a look. We'll use our stability assist system to stabilize ourselves. Hopefully our fuel tanks won't explode as we enter Atmo. This is going to be a very rough landing, though, wingmates. This is going to be a very rough landing. I can almost guarantee it. I think the spaceplane approach might not be the best. But at least we will have learned how to build proper spaceplanes, and we will have one for future use. And at the same time, we will get to see Duna. Alright, that's fine. Let's rotate our vessel here. Oh, there we go. Perfect. And now we wait while we slowly descend onto Duna. Let's see, what is our trajectory right now? We will be landing on the sunward side, although I'm not sure how much. Alright, let's speed up. There we go. We are pushing the physics warp. The 4x. Let's see what we can get out of it. Come on, come on, come on. This should not be the most touch and go landing at all, I think. Let's see here. This will prove or bust our desire to do this. Ah, hello, Raiders. Welcome. Dunbaratu. Good to see you here. Welcome to the convoy. How are you this fine evening? And I suppose I should ask, what were you doing prior to your engagement here? Let's see, we're at 25 kilometers. We are starting to hit lower atmo. Let me turn off the stability assist. So we are starting to feel the atmospheric effects of Duna. I'm going to turn on the stability assist here. I was also doing Kerbal. RSS, ROP. Dinbaradu, I'm gonna have to admit something to you. While I enjoy this game a lot, I am not the best at it, and this is the first time I'm using some of these mod components here. So I actually do not know some of that terminology. I would definitely appreciate an explanation so I could learn. But I'm glad that you were also enjoying an evening of a Kerbal Space Program. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm using MechJeb and the pack that contains Interstellar. Or the Interstellar mod chat. Did you Linux all over the chat? Sudo RMRF. That's all you need to know about Linux. Let's see. I'm actually using the debug right now, Dinbaradu, to test my Duna lander rocket plane. It's a bit silly. RSS real solar system, Earth instead of Kerbal, Mars instead of Duna, etc. Ah, I see. I've not actually used that one at all. My mod experience. Oh, Ricker, use Arch. Excellent. Arch Chad is what you are. Oh, why is my... Oh, right, I'm dropping into a valley right now. Let me up the physics warp again. Alright, come on. What is with this atmosphere? I do not want to fly, I want to drop down. This is very hard to error brake on. I think I'm going to go retrograde and actually slow down a little bit more. Let's see here. Pop OS here. Oh, it seems like we do have quite a few people using Linux. That is excellent. Alright, this is silly, but I am only testing, so I don't care too much. Alright. Let's make sure we stabilize a little bit and do a bit of a burn. Oh. Come on, come on. Never mind, let's go prograde. We need to stabilize ourselves. RO, Realism Overhaul, a large suite of other mods and configuration changes to make real-sized engines, tanks, etc., and deal with real problems like engines can't throttle back to 0, have limited ignitions, etc. Oh my goodness, that does definitely seem significantly more troublesome. Do you know Danny 246? He's really crazy in KSP. That guru is really nuts. I do not know him. RP1 provides career play for RO. Ours normally sandbox only mode. Ah, I see, I see. Okay, that is a very sensible mod, actually. RP1, I'll have to keep that. I'm going to have to jot these down. Let's see here. Danny is a madman indeed. Alright, come on, come on. Please do not atmospherically capture me. Okay, there we go. We are hitting thicker ammo. Perfect. I want to actually land in the light. He also streams on Twitch. You should visit him. Oh, feel free to throw his Twitch channel here. That would be actually much appreciated if you don't mind. You like your atmo thick. Yeah, this is not a very thick atmosphere at all. And we are not very deep into it either. We are simply trying to get lower. Oh. Alright, let's see if this plane is stable enough on its own without too much assistance from SAS. There we go. Okay, we are definitely getting some atmospheric stabilization effects here. Cali Calico, welcome to the convoy. We will be wrapping up soon, though, once I crash on Duna. And lastly, some self-promotion. KOS is a Kerbal operating system, not really an operating system, but a scripting language, and fake computer that runs so you can write your own autopilots. Oh my goodness, Dune Barado, that is, pretty crazy. Are you part of that particular project? I have not heard of that one, actually. Okay, we are definitely in need of autopilot now. Alright, let's actually make sure we take advantage of Duna's atmosphere here. So we are at 4 kilometers. The atmosphere is getting denser. So we should be having more control. Oh no. Oh no, that's no good. That is no good at all. Alright, let's turn off SAS and hope to rescue this craft because we are in deep trouble here. Uh-oh. Very deep trouble. Should have had RCS on this. Oh, did we actually come to a halt, pretty much? Oh boy, this is not good. This is not good. I'm glad I'm flying this mission now, and not when I am running into serious issues. Throttle up, come on. Pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up. Okay, atmo control is really bad here. Whoopsie. Thank you for the link. Thank you for the link. You are the maintainer of KOS. What language is KOS most similar to Dunbaratu? If there is one that is based to it. Example what the KOS language looks like. Lock steering onto heading. Lock throttle to 7. Stage. Print aiming at compass. Okay, so it is a, I guess I'm interested in seeing that. What kind of delimiting it has. Alright, let's see here. Okay, there we go. Thank you for the link for the link with Danny. There we go. All right. Okay, so I have clearly crashed, and clearly my spaceplane is perhaps not the right approach to landing on Duna. I think I may need to make the wings significantly larger for it to have any chance of control. And also the control surfaces need to be much larger on Duna. It's using periods, not my reference, but a weird choice made a person who first started KOS. I'm not the one who started it, but I've sort of inherited it as the sole remaining maintainer. I see. Yeah, period is a weird delimiter. I mean, I come from a background of using classes, and to me, the period is sacrosanct as axis. Almost every language uses period as the class axis. Then again, it's just a simple scripting language, or relatively simple, of course. That is, he was trying to make it look like English. I see. That does make sense. All right. Let's revert to the spaceplane hangar and save our design. But at the very least, we learned a lot about spaceplanes today, wingmates, at least from the perspective of someone as, not as capable as I am. Let's see here. Spacer, haywire, spaceplane. Spacer plane wire. So let me save that. And I'm going to, I think, exit now. There we go. Member access uses colons because periods are terminators. Example. Ah, okay, so it does have class access. That is so strange. How much speed did you need to fly stable on Kerbal? Not too much, actually. But we were also stalled out, I think. We were in low density atmo and we were stalled out, so we definitely need much bigger wings on Duna, especially considering how much fuel we're dragging with us. Okay, so that is interesting. I'm a big fan of scripting languages because you can learn quite a bit from them. Ah, Dunbaradu, you're getting some rest. Well, we're also wrapping up shortly here soon, so thank you for joining the convoy and a good night, and thank you for the raid. Alright, so let's quit to the main menu and exit this. Just Google COS KSP and it should be findable. I think I will do that once I exit this executable. Much appreciated. I enjoy homebrew scripting languages. And we'll quit that. There we go. Alright, if the executable won't crash completely. COS KSP. There we go. COS KSP. Wonderful, wonderful. Nope, it's crashed. Oh my goodness. Alright, let's see here. Let's go back to the space station, wingmates. Let's do that. Okay, here we go. I'm glad you had fun. I'm glad you had fun, wingmates. I apologize for not actually doing a proper launch, but we were able to, at the very least, figure a lot of things out about designing space planes. Okay, so I'm not the only one with that particular issue, Dunbaradu. Thank you for letting me know. Definitely, this is not exiting quickly. Spaceman, what is your Kerbal body count for this stream? That's a trick question. Oh my goodness, it's, well, because of reversions, technically 0, so we have no deaths whatsoever. Alright, well, let's start thinking about raids, wingmates. Let's start thinking about raids. So, right now we have, at least on my IFF transponder list, we have Soya Poya, Alaric, and Paperbag. Let's see here. 0 deaths, gang, indeed. What do you mean you didn't do a proper launch? Ever is explosively successful. Oh, I mean that I did not launch a spacecraft and do any sort of transfer orbits. Although, I suppose that is not a problem, because sometimes you do need to focus on something different, and space planes are definitely, they demand a little bit of a different sort of approach. But I think I'm going to do a vertical lander because I apologize. The atmosphere on Duna is so thin that we can afford a little bit of aero braking with our lander. So I was a little concerned that we would have issues with that, but we really won't. So I am going to test out a lander for Duna and see if I can get it back into orbit. So what I'll do next time I play Kerbal Space Program is I will design a lander, then I will essentially deorbit it using a dummy stage. Or actually using the orbiter itself. I will deorbit it from Duna, and then I will, what's the word? Then I will essentially attempt to take off and see if I can circularize my orbit again. And as long as I can prove that my particular lander design is able to do that with its delta V, then we will have succeeded. A VTOL, is it even... Are helicopters even something feasible in Kerbal Space Program? I've never attempted to make a VTOL teacup. Have you had any success with that? Yes, I think Soya Poi will be a good target for tonight's raid. So let's do Soya Poya. And let me do some announcements before I do anything else. And Soya Poya is doing some Dark Souls. Oh, that is a very different thing. Oh, and she's doing it with Lily Hops. My goodness. Star-studded cast. Ah, you made a VTOL ship. 0 fuel, a 0 engine VTOL ship. Oh my goodness. Okay, so wingmates, thank you for joining this stream. I do apologize for not being able to do the wishful thinking tonight. I really wanted to do the lecture, but unfortunately, due to my maintenance tasks, I was unable to complete the lecture in time. And I hope to have it for you on Monday. And I know I keep pushing things back, but that is unfortunately the reality of having the life of a spacer and also attempting to stream. The things that are easier, of course, games, but anything with preparation, of course, takes time that I actually may need to use in order to adjust my heading, do documentation, do marketing for my particular courier service, and all of that. You just need to trick physics. It's like that troll comic where two individuals lift each other up, and because they're both lifting each other, they're able to fly into the sky. But yes. Monday is good. Wonderful. No dark magic. Dark science. I like that, Allbones Jones. Well, I think today has been a pleasant little stroll. It was the non-violent version of Kerbal, although we did have quite a few detonations. Let's see here. I think that is pretty much the primary announcement, although I will be having, I believe, a Risk of Rain collaboration next Saturday with Alaric and others. I think it's on Saturday. I will have to double check, and that will be on my schedule. Have you tried the jam bread cat engine? Butterbrot falls on buttercat falls on lefts put bread on cat. They're gonna spin forever. Yes. If sufficiently advanced, there's no difference between magic and science. I suppose. Rolls forever since cats land on their feet and jam always falls face down. You can use it for an infinite power generator. Infinite torque machine. Alright. Let's start that raid going for Soya Poya. Here we go. Our favorite German accented soybean. Alright, let's do this. Well, thank you everyone for attending this particular convoy. It is very great. I'm glad to have everyone here, and for anyone who followed me, thank you very much. And if you would like to see more similar content, including other games such as Free Space 2, Homeworld, Sins of a Solar Empire, MechWarrior, and that sort of related ilk, I will be doing so feel free to follow along, and I may see you another time. But if not, no problem. I know that I am not everyone's cup of tea. Alright, wingmates, well, thank you for having me. I want you to always keep your propellant tanks topped off, make sure that your jump calculations are correct, and always fly safe. And let me provide you with the raid message. I have been neglecting that. Apologies, wingmates. Here comes the raid message. Let's see here. Oh, thank you, everyone. I apologize, it is difficult to read super fast. There we go. There is the raid message. I hope that you are polite to our raid clients. And don't use too much munitions, as we are a little bit short. And be very careful. Alright, everybody, here comes the raid. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Raid initiated.